Hi, guys.
Wow. The time, Stuart, is finally upon us.
The times, they are changing.
And because we know what Skype is like, we're going to test the audio via my phone first.
Oh, yes, of course we are. Let's test the audio. I'm going to speak like I would normally speak, and then you can listen, and then you'll know.
Exactly. So he's going to talk, and I'll see you in a second.
That's right. So I was talking. Jeff Jacobs, though, throws in $2. 50 likes before they arrive. You guys are the best. That's fantastic. You guys are awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoy this chat. I love the new L cars, Samuel. Kudos to you for that. Good job.
Well, it wasn't me. It was Tim. Gotta love Mr. Tim. Yeah, we designed this over the course of I did a thing, and he did a thing better, so I used his.
Yeah. I'm just changing my camera because it looks like shit for some reason.
Oh.
There we go. That's better.
Right. Okay. Welcome, everyone. We hope you have gone back and watched our spoiler-free review, which was 3 hours ago, and then the very carefully edited full breakdown, which includes the full graphics and is a nice 22 minutes, which I think is a good length for a detailed review. Nicely edited down. Go back and watch those things if you want. Or Stuart's first reaction last night, which is 7,000 views for 16 hours. But today, now, this is what we're really here for, Stuart. The full Trekyards. Your face just got bigger because of the internet connection. Great. It's going well. The full epic review of Star Trek Picard. Wow.
My face is bigger.
Yes. How do you feel, Stuart? We're finally here. We made it.
I feel excited. I mean, I'm glad we're here. It's been a long time, and we're finally kind of on the threshold of what will be. Well, we stepped through the threshold now, I guess. But
yes,
yeah,
we can now know. We can now know what we think.
We can now know the unknowable.
Because we didn't even know how to feel really about the old stuff. You know, you can be very reactionary to trailers, but it doesn't really tell you what the show's going to be. But now we can actually look at it and say, do we like the idea? Do we not? You know, and it's still very early days, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But we can now actually have opinions.
Yeah. So 129 of you here already. That's great. Hopefully we get some good numbers. I got up to 500 people last night in my first reaction review. Amazing. So that was awesome. And
so I should get sharing, is what you're saying?
Probably, yes. Yes.
Okay. In a second, but talk about super chats and about anything else.
I always do. So guys, as you guys know, super chats are a great way to help out the channel. They get your voice heard, your question answered, and they help us out, which is great. Other ways to help us out, of course, PayPal. All the information for the PayPal stuff is down below in the description of every video. So yeah, if you want to support us that way, you can. Or Patreon. Patreon is another great way to help us. That's more of a monthly donation thing, but there's so many great benefits to Patreon. It really supports creators, YouTube creators like us, because Patreon is basically the lifeblood of the channel at this point. This and Patreon and super chats, of course, because YouTube and Google ad revenue is awful. It's been going down steadily for the past couple of years, and it's just not great. And we want to keep making this content for you. So if you can help us out by doing any of those things, super chats, PayPal, Patreon, supporting us by clicking any of the links down below for, Teespring's store. We got some cool Trekyards merchandise if you're into Trekyards stuff. Speaking of, we got a Trekyards comm badge right there, Picard style. I know Samuel's got one too. He's going to unbox it for you guys. He hasn't seen them yet. They've arrived for him, but and that's the Trekyards Delta. So we have things like that, shirts, phone cases, all that cool stuff down there. Plus you can save money on Eagle Moss ships, and that also supports the channel as well. If you click the link down below to head on over to Eagle Moss and use the code Trekyards at checkout, you can save yourself money. So there's lots of great ways to help out the channel. But as you guys know, super chats and PayPal and Patreon are the best, because YouTube is YouTube. So
and super chats are very much how good they are is in the name. They are super. There is
and you can chat with us and everyone else.
And while you read those super chats, Joe, I'm gonna do the unboxing of my badge. I'm thoroughly excited.
Yeah, well, I've already read Jeff Jacobs. We got Fat Produce there, $2. Okay, so Romulans have spit xenomorph blood now. Well, not necessarily a Romulan, first of all, and secondly, it could also be like a suicide pill, because it did kill him as well. You would think any creature that could spit acid wouldn't immediately die afterwards.
Yeah.
So
I hate people saying his blood's that. It's like a cyanide.
Well, they shouldn't have made it green though, because I mean Romulans have green blood, just like Vulcans. So it should have made it a different color at least to differentiate. Maybe they'll explain it.
No, I just think it was a cyanide pill so they don't get captured, and he just spit it out because, he didn't want to get beaten. So I got 3. Oh, fancy! And I also got 29th Century. Awesome bonus. These are big. These are big and hefty.
Yeah.
And then Mal, they're magnetic. Okay. I think my shirt's a little bit too light to actually be magnetic on me, but for our next review, I'll tell you everyone. But there we go. Supporting Star Trek Picard. There we go.
With the Trekyards styled one. Yeah,
exactly.
Trekyards Delta.
I did get one.
There's a regular Picard one there too.
Well, it's not gold, but that's okay.
No, it's silver.
It is.
There.
Oh my
really nice.
How do you undo the magnets? Were they just that strong?
They're that strong.
I haven't got nails, so.
Well, you're gonna have to either slide it off or just find something to.
Okay, that might be a thing. But anyway, any more super chats to it?
Yes, but you kept talking, so.
I did. Well, I'm supporting the. Look how Picard we are. With com badging up. That's great. Cool. Wow, these are awesome magnets.
And Jeff Jacobs puts in $2, 100 within 2 minutes. Again at 150 hashtag Picard like spike. Again, you guys are great. 210 of you here. Make sure you hit like and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Eugene puts in 100 rubles.
Hi, Eugene.
Where'd it go? Oh, well, a lot of mixed feelings. It says. Ooh. Voice of Reason puts in £2. Hope you guys get lots of new subs from Picard, as do we. If you know anybody that's interested in Picard and wants a good discussion about it each week, send them our way. Tell them to subscribe.
Oh, come on, really? A new trailer for Star Trek Discovery Season 3 just launched on the... Really? We're busy doing something else. Really, CBS? Don't give us content when we haven't got time to talk about content. We've got our slate fully booked, CBS. Why?
Raj says, Trekyards, have you claimed your free $23.99 Star Trek Picard uniform and STO? Have not. I didn't know that was a thing.
I absolutely have. I thought it was more than one profile, but it might not be. But it's just the top. I really wanted to get a picture of it, like, look, here's a thing. But I couldn't.
Yeah. Matthew De Freitas puts in $5. Loved episode 1 of Picard. Only one thing bugged me. Why didn't the Romulans just beam up Dodge and just never rematerialize her? Boom, dead. I don't think they were out to kill her. They were definitely out to capture her because they put the bag over her head. They were trying to get her. Later, it seemed like they were more apt to kill her than the guy kills himself and her as well. So we have a feeling that because of her being activated, there's probably, and they said she had a cloaking device of sorts to not be seen on camera, so she probably has an anti-beaming technology thing, dampening field.
This is the start of the journey, but we said, I mean, we kept discovering things, and you'll see videos coming out throughout the weekend of this, that we thought, there's more to her than meets the eye, obviously. Transformers, as you'll put more Transformers in. And she might just have had transport inhibitors. I mean, we know that they can be very small. Because the entire fight on the rooftop is dumb if you could just beam her up. So either they didn't think of that, which is possible, or she can be dampened, and therefore being Picard is not the most efficient thing.
Yeah, I think it's just a dampening field of sorts, much like the cloaking device, not being able to see her on camera.
I'm trying to call it stealth field because it's not a cloaking device, because she's clearly visible.
Yeah, I know.
But no, call it a what did Discovery call it? Cloaking shield. There you go.
Cloaking shield, yes. Mac Lee puts in £5.
Thank you.
No question. Just love your work. I thought it was reasonably good, but I hope it gets a lot better. 6.5 out of 10.
Mac, I love your balance there. I appreciate the honesty there.
Prime 1351 $4.99. Loved it. The tech was mostly on point. Happy to see new designs and a universe that felt like real Trek. # no more Klingorks. Yeah, there's Worf's in it. So, I mean, he looks exactly the same.
Well, I mean, you also saw Pike in Discovery, and that didn't mean anything.
I know. I
Yeah.
said that last night as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nebula, 1701,
Hey, good name.
$5. Why doesn't every villain beam up their targets? It's a trope. LOL. This is a trope throughout Trek. Winky face.
I mean, the problem with that, though, is that if you start using any trope for anything, then that means that any tired thing can still be used. It's like at some point, the smartest shows tend to go beyond the tropes. Otherwise, the trope of a male captain. Oh, they'd swap that trope, or it's a trope, but you can make it smart, and that's why even in Rise of Skywalker, when they gave a reason why they had to have the horses, it was just a single line. It was a throwaway, quick line, but at least it was there. Yeah. What that's worth.
And Samuel Ray puts in $2. Area beaming? ? Hypo spray instead of bag. Well, they put the things on her head, which gave her the funky goggles for whatever reason, which she ripped off immediately. But
yeah, we'll get there for sure.
Now the problem is, Samuel, I just opened up my notes that I wrote on my phone.
Oh God, yeah, I have notes.
Sadly, it's a good thing you do, because I don't. My notes are gone. I don't know where it went, so I have no notes. But that's okay. I watched it like 4 times. I just won't know specific names or whatever.
Well, this is the brilliant thing about screen capping it, is that it's hard to forget things when you have every single moment of every scene in a visual. But Stuart, while the super chats start to build up again, I absolutely want to hear your thoughts. We're almost 300 people watching. That will build as we talk. So Stuart, now that we've done our spoiler-free, spoiler-filled, and have talked about it extensively, and I'll back talk about it extensively, but with a beautiful audience, what was your overall thoughts? And now have you changed your opinion at all since our discussion earlier on today?
My opinions have not changed.
Okay.
My overall thoughts were, and are, it felt very comfortable. Like I said, slipping on an old pair of slippers that just feel good. It's exactly what stepping into this was. I thought it would have a very different feel. However, Picard right away clicks as Picard for me. I was worried about old man Patrick Stewart, which you've talked about a little bit. And to me, he felt like Picard. There's a few scenes where maybe not so much, but overall, especially that opening scene, he definitely had that Picard vibe, and I really appreciated that. So, I mean, I thought, it's basically a 3-part pilot, so it's hard to get a feel for the whole thing with only seeing one part of it. But overall, I thought it was very entertaining, well written, well acted, good mix of not exposition, but discussion as well as action. I think there was a good feel there, and plus a lot of great callbacks. A lot, like the Starfleet Archives was awesome for a lot of different reasons, and we saw a lot of cool stuff that Samuel and myself have seen now twice, in Vegas and in Birmingham. So that was really cool to see those, and know that those were the actual ones that were in that scene. I think is pretty fantastic. So, so overall, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I probably give it more praise than a lot of people will, but that's just me being me. I really enjoyed it.
So before I say what I think, it's been an interesting experience. I watched it without. I managed to keep away from all spoilers. Watched it in a vacuum. I watched it. I enjoyed it for I enjoyed it. But then I come online, I look, and there's some people really hating on it, some people really loving it, and some some people worked on Trek that I won't name, or at least fan film Trek, whatever, who loved it, said it was amazing, and I both perspectives, hating and loving it. I'm not in either camp, so it's interesting to see that there's this interesting polarization. I don't think it's anywhere as polarizing as Last Jedi, which was literally 50-50. I think Picard show has a good middle. And then some people love it and some people hate it, which is kind of a better way of doing it. But I think the more consensus it's pretty good to good. And then that sliding scale is either do you go lower or higher. But it's interesting. There is some, because I don't know how you could say it was bad, especially if you look in contrast to Discovery. Like, we've had some pretty bad Trek in the last 2 years, and while that got better, and obviously you see the contrast of season 1, season 2, it's like, oh, it's better. This is better again. Very, very different. But it's definitely a better show. But that show wasn't good in the first place, so it's kind of, but it might do you want to do some super chats, and I'll give my actual thoughts?
Yeah, kind of sure. David Bessick throws in $10.
Thank you very much, David.
I mostly liked it, but biggest real issue was the huge shootout in broad daylight at a Starfleet facility. That was odd. How did enemy commando team reach Earth and get away? Yeah, very valid. But we're talking Romulans here. They have cloaking devices. They have... they're very sneaky little bastards, those Romulans. So
they really are. And super coops. It's all good. It's all good.
And Nesh Omancer puts in $5. Where did Maddox get the positronic neuron from Data for fractile cloning, since he, blew up? Well, was also, if in Data's Day, the episode Data's Day, Data is writing a letter to Maddox, and at the end of Measure of Man, he told Maddox, "I'm willing to help you with anything you want. I'm excited to see what you're doing." So I'm sure Data supplied him with engrams and things like that as needed.
Because I can imagine the plot happening that he was using, like I say, Data gave him, because he can't give him himself, but he can give him a piece of himself. You can just copy it. Maddox was using that as the baseline. It went wrong, and he thought he'd be blamed because he didn't quite understand the data-ness, but he took that, once it was all banned, he took that data, literally, with him out wherever he went. But also you could argue that from Law's brain. I mean, Law is the same except without, without some of the things, but I mean, he's functionally almost identical. So why wouldn't Law's a completely functional thing.
Well, yeah, because they said that all of Data's memories would be encapsulated within a single engram, which would also include all of Lao's memories, Data's daughter,
and the colonists, and therefore.
Well, yeah,
but the whole thing doesn't quite work. But that's science.
No,
so we'll get into that later.
But so if they use lores, that doesn't really work so well unless he imprinted Data's information on them. But
I assumed it wasn't about the data in the neuron. It was just the fact the neuron existed and worked. So Law's neurons would, I guess your new version of Data would be Law, but I mean, you don't need to give it memories. I mean, you just give it the cell knowledge of how to function. Otherwise, because Jarj is not a clone of Data, neither is the other one. So therefore, I hate that it's not cloning Data, it's using Data's information that they've managed to reconstruct as a blueprint to create a new positronic brain. It's not cloning, because otherwise that would be sort of pointless.
And Fat Produce $2 says, "I cringe when Dodge leaped up the stairs like a Jedi." I didn't have much of an issue with that, assuming she was activated and she wasn't really flesh and blood per se. She could have implants that gives her enhanced strength. She could have denser musculature, which also would do the same thing, getting signals from a positronic like brain. I have no issues with that. It was a little jarring, but at the same time, it can be easily explained.
It looks a little bit like the I think that's going to be the equivalent of the Mary Poppins scene from Last Jedi. Like, it looks a bit daft. If she was just at the bottom of the stairs and jumped up, but the fact that she's halfway across the thing and just like it does look stupid. You can probably justify it, but then why didn't Data ever do 130-foot leaps?
Well, he jumped 12 point some odd meters down to help out Beverly,
which is not at all the same thing. That's just cushion landing. But you know what I mean? It's. I mean, this is still the future, but I guess he built her with tactical.
Well, yeah, clearly.
But I mean, again, Data's not the right example, because also this is a 40-year-old actor in the 80s/90s. I mean, it's tricky. I mean, it'll be whatever's to be said about all the things. It will be an interesting story when we get to the end of it. I think this is going to be an interesting journey.
Yes. Well, Fat Produce puts another $2 and says, "Why didn't Data have Jedi leaping skills then?" I mean, he very well might have. He just never used them because, who knows? There was never really a need, or because it's been enhanced. This is new tech essentially.
Although she's also human which means she should be less advanced because she's now got flesh and bone to deal with, and surely the musculature isn't strong enough to do that sort of leap.
I'm not sure she's fully human, to be honest. She is artificial, but basically flesh and blood. So I can see them ramping up her strength, much like you just got to make more dense musculature. It's easy.
It's like season 2 with Plasky and the kids. They're physically perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We're so early on in the journey, so it's really hard to, you know what I mean? There's all these questions that don't necessarily fit because we're at ground zero, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And guys, do share this video around. We would love to get more people. 380 is brilliant, but I want to see at least 500, if not 600 today. I really, really do. And we've got a long, long way to go here as well.
But everybody that's here, 363 of you, hit like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, because we got some really cool videos coming out for you guys. And David Bessick throws in another $5 on a very positive note. Truly happy with how well they made Data look, especially compared to that first trailer we saw. It made me happy. Well, we got a video coming out about that. So
David, your brain is doing tricks on you. Watch our video. I guess tomorrow. Video on Data tomorrow. You'll be surprised, but we did the research for you.
So you don't have to.
Pretty much. Okay.
Prime1351 puts in $1.99. Does Dodge also break the augment ban? I would say, well, that's interesting.
Well, she's synthetic though, so that would supersede the other one.
You'd think, yeah. Good question.
I appreciate what you said a minute ago, because I can't really buy. It's too far of a leap that they built a human and put a positronic brain synapses in a human brain. I don't buy that. I'd rather she be a fully synthetic body, but it replicates the like her heart is a synthetic heart, and her blood is actually not blood. It's like, because we're just a machine. They broke down what a machine body is, or a human machine body is. Like, I'd hate it if she actually literally bleeds blood. I mean, I would hate that. It's like, well, now every android is a human just with a robot brain, because then why don't you have Patrick Stewart? Well, it's not quite the same thing. Obviously, I mean, put into a young body, it kind of ruins a whole portion of the time, of the universe. But if it's still, like we said in tomorrow's video, Sung did make a fully human-looking android, who was his wife. So he did it already. If it's just as good as that, maybe a little bit more advanced, it's been 40 years, great. But don't push it into the absurdity. That's why I really liked when she said Data is so unique. We couldn't make a sentient Data again in 1,000 years. That's a hell of a claim. It's like Sung. Edge makes Sung even more of a genius. Like so much further. Although it kind of says mean things to Mud's androids. I guess they weren't sentient enough.
Yeah.
Because we had an android like 2 weeks ago, or a little while ago in the Mud short. He was an android.
Nebula 1701, $5.
Hello.
Dodge is just more advanced version of Data's mother from Inheritance.
There you go.
Some blood to an extent.
Yes.
An interesting fact. I did some research as well. Oh. When we find out that when that painting was made, or when that painting was painted, it was a year after Lol.
Yep.
And a year before Data met his mother. So it was in that time frame. So. There you go.
And also, I thought it was funny, it's exactly 30 years.
Yeah.
Because 39, or whatever, 9, and then 99. Yeah. That I thought was interesting symmetry.
Yeah. Matthew DeFriedis puts in $5. But can Dodge turn herself into a flotation device like Data? That's where the real questions have to start, guys. Well, we talked about that in Descent, because there was a story where him and Geordi went sailing, and he sunk to the bottom and couldn't get back. So he had to walk him like 1.5 kilometers underwater.
Brilliant.
And then that gets retconned in Nemesis. So maybe they added one after.
But to be fair, she can have a cloaking device in her body, maybe. I'm fine with her cells suddenly becoming more like, it would be funny. It would be funny. Right.
Jeff Jacobs, $2. Well, paying for 150 again at 200. Hashtag 2 expensive days. LOL. Yes. And Jason Vinek puts in $5. Glad you guys shared your thoughts on the previous Prelude comics, Cap, Data, and Ambassador Picard in the earlier video. Boom, 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 and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about that. We talked about that in the review, but it makes me happy like a little cheeky happy that they chose, because you can't, and that would be an entire video. Should get the comic and show the canon differences, and therefore that is now an alternate universe, which means now that Spock didn't come from our universe, which is Spock is still alive.
Ding, ding, ding.
Like, that's really actually kind of exciting that that's an alternate within an alternate, and it means that when I went back in time, he did go back in time to his own universe, and therefore JJ verse did look different because it was never they basically retconned out the JJ verse as being any connection to the Prime timeline, and it fixes everything, Stuart. Literally.
And then we got Picard with Discovery ships, so
that's next week. We're gonna bitch about that, Stuart. We don't know about that yet. We do, but...
Vince. Vince envisions
Hey, man.
$2 in the next episode promo. Discovery shuttle was a taxi.
Fuck
yeah,
off.
it's been. Discovery shuttles are everywhere. They're taxis. They're school buses. They're regular
They're
Starfleet
everything.
shuttles.
They're in every single location. If you watch the video, I kept cutting to the new place in every single location of the Discovery shuttles. It's really kind of embarrassing.
Samuel Ray, $2. If augments are illegal, positronic humans are illegal. Well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But she's double illegal then, because
She's double illegal. Yeah.
Okay, so we did hit 400. So now we can actually start the review, Stuart. So we start with one of the best intros of any Star Trek episode, perhaps.
Yeah, I would say so. It's really, really cool. Some great shots.
At least in terms of what it means to us and the respect it is given.
Yes.
You know, the end. Although, you kind of wish they hadn't revealed Enterprise D. We wouldn't have had a 20,000 view video. But I mean, that would have been. Wouldn't this have been a nice thing if we hadn't known it was coming?
Yeah, it would have been.
But we did. Still just as nice. And the lighting is still just as bad for me, and the model looks just as bad to me. But
I love.
Confirmed a dream. And the fact the dream meant that you didn't have to texture the model at all, and you got to do half the work. And the music choice, brilliant.
Yes.
Blue skies, beautiful.
Yeah. Stan Low Crickets 888 puts in 199.
Thank
Tech
you.
Making Dodge and Sister from Future. Discovery season 3 tie-in.
That's true. Guys, let's not talk about Discovery, please.
It's not. David Bessick, $2.
Hey.
I did see a lot of non-disco shuttles, though. Not disco shuttles, though. Really?
Did you? I mean, they're
Apparently there was one flying above them when they were fighting on the roof.
No, well, I think they're all just. I mean, Discovery shuttle looks so much like a TNG shuttle from a distance. I think they're all just Discovery shuttles, honestly. And that's my CG face. But I strongly doubt anything apart from. Yeah. Now, what do you think of this fly-in? Because it's so dark, you really can't appreciate the hull. But you get a nice sense of scale, and you get to see inside the window. Although they're very. I wish we'd seen the set inside the window. Like, the windows aren't normally that bright and yellow, but it works for artistic effect. But yeah, it goes into the window. What do you think?
I thought it was interesting for sure, but yeah, I would have liked to see more detail on the hull. But then again, it's a dream and all that, you know. That being said, yeah, the three windows are very offset from where 10 forward should be. 10 forward should be right smack dab in the middle, with 4 big windows and then 3 on each side. That's way too far over, but you know, it's one of those things that people like us notice.
Well, we know these guys aren't sticklers for attention. They don't go back and watch Star Trek because they got Data's stuff wrong. Anyway, but yes, cuts to lovely little pre-scene.
Yeah, 1 second. Squadron Course 499. Just keep telling yourself that it's Picard era shuttle, and they should not have been using in Discovery. I mean, I've always said if they had introduced this as a post-Nemesis shuttle, it looks fine for that.
Not great, but fine.
I think it's a good enough design that it could be that, but they shouldn't never have.
But the problem is, I've got an Eagle Moss magazine that's a Philly Discovery. I've already paid for that. I mean, the thing is, I thought myself, but that disingenuates. Then you got to watch Discovery and retcon it out. Like it's a mess up. Like you can't. There's nothing else apart from a mess up. Now, if they never show it in Discovery again, and they sort of say, now we're going to skip it and make it Picard era shuttle, then I guess I could just retcon it out in season 1 and 2 of Discovery. But I mean, it's in quite a lot of that season, guys. Like, there's a lot of shots in and out of that shuttle. So it's kind of hard to retcon out that big a thing that they shouldn't have done in the first place.
And Eugene, 500 rubles. They're 4 nacelle caps, not 6. foreign to cell caps. Okay, thank you. I don't know what you mean exactly, but
Well, yeah, the Basards are wrong, and all that stuff. But anyway, but Stuart, yes, we were revealed to Data in Nemesis costume, in a great-looking set, playing poker with Mr. Jean-Luc Picard, who is the happiest he'll be all episode. And I kind of wish he'd stayed this nice, because in this scene is like pure Star Trek. I mean,
Yes.
in and out. But that's the point. This is the contrast. This is the good old days. He's envisioning the best of times, because the rest of the episode he is a sad man who, as he says right at the end, what does he say?
I've been waiting to die.
He's broken. You know, he's broken himself. And
it
so
goes even to the line where he says, you know, the dreams are pleasant, they're awesome, but it's the waking up I'm beginning to resent. The fact he says resent.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, he just wants to go to sleep and not wake up, you know.
Although the irony being, he could just go back in time with the sun trick.
No.
Sorry. But so I think, well, yeah. So I think as we go on, we're gonna get the Picard we deserve, because this is the journey. You know, to start. You know, you got to start in a place. I mean, you know, he wasn't the Picard he was in family, but he grew out of. You know, it's a journey, and part of the season is his journey to be a better person again. He's lost that command. He's lost that sense of life, of existence. He's just been doing wine for 20 years. He's not the man he was, and he wants to be again by the end, which is great.
Yeah. Nebula 1701 puts in $2.
Thank you.
Did you watch promo before credits? Have to say something. The promo before the credits.
I think he means the season on this season on.
Oh, yes. Yes, we did.
Which we'll talk about in a separate video, guys. Probably, maybe.
Yes.
Who knows?
Paris puts in $5. I didn't have a problem with wrong window location. The windows were all so different shapes inside and outside. It's a dream. Well, yeah. I mean, that's Data works as a dream. I mean, it's fine for this scene. But it's just one of those things where they could have had more attention to detail. They just didn't. Yeah.
It's like when you build the Enterprise D, when you say in storyboard, it goes into these windows, just look at the show, say where are the windows, and you put it in the 3D model. They just didn't bother doing that.
Yeah.
It's just a sign of lack of attention to detail that is, Yeah.
Ben De Silva Grave puts in £20.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Dude, thank you.
I have to agree with the Cap. This felt and looked like Star Trek to me. The technology felt like natural progression from Nemesis to this time period, and believable for the amount of time that has passed.
Apart from the Discovery shells.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although we didn't really see any technology, so that's really hard to say. I mean, that's the whole point. We saw no technology. The L cars, yes. But I mean, everything else is like him in a vineyard, and there's a camera, there's floating camera balls. I mean, there's not, so there's not really much tech in this to compare.
The anonymous user puts in $4.99. The ship looked based off of the season 6, season 1 Enterprise D, which didn't have the 10 forward. The rim windows were laid out slightly different in season 1. Off the 6-foot season 1 Enterprise. Sorry, I said season 6.
You say that, but the hull doesn't match that. I know what you're trying to say there's different versions of Enterprise D, but the hull isn't bumped like that one was. So if they wanted to match that, it would have looked very different.
And Brian Sontag puts in $4.99. Hobus was Star Trek Online, not JJ. However, Romulan Star could still refer to Hobus. They said Romulan Star like saying Sol in the Federation Star. They did refer to Hobus specifically in the JJ film, though.
Yeah, I remember that explicitly because I didn't really play the Stowe storyline of that bit really. Yeah.
But yeah, this opening scene is fantastic. I do love when you zoom into the ship, the front's dark and the inside's lit, and you get into the ship and the bright sunlight streaming in. I do like the look though. I think it's great.
Serves the story very well.
Yeah. And somebody said, why is Data in his Nemesis uniform here, not his TNG one? And last night on my first reaction review, and somebody else said, well, the Enterprise D, because that was where he was the happiest. And the reason that Data's in the Nemesis uniform is because that's the last time he saw Data before he died. So that's why he says, I don't want the game to end. It's Dream, so I have no issues with that. But it's great to see Data back in uniform for sure.
And I have no issue with this at all. In fact, I think he looks better in this than he does in TNG. And that's one of those subtle things I mentioned on episode tomorrow. We associate older Data in this uniform, so seeing older Data and younger Data uniform, it doesn't fit as well. But I just refer to this as being in our review that his happiest place to be is Enterprise D, because he served longest there in the most peaceful of times, and this is a favourite place on that ship, and this is the Data that he knew last. So there's put those two together, and that's why these two things. And I don't like people who had a negative point against the episode for saying he's in the wrong uniform, and it's like, well, yeah. But also, it's symbolic. That's why it works that he's in TNG later, which is the hint to when he painted the painting. When he was this very, it's specific. It actually is, which gives you a weird hope it might be in season 1 uniform later. With no neck. And to be fair, he could be in Wrath of Khan uniform, because he probably was in the academy. No, maybe?
I wouldn't push that, no.
Because Picard was, I guess, no, maybe not.
Yeah. Eugene puts 250 rubles.
Thank you.
Hobus was from Star Trek Countdown, which was labeled as canon. It had, however, Captain Data of Enterprise E, which is now retconned. Yes, and Picard was also an ambassador. However, Hobus was also mentioned in the movie. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, we'll go back and look. But that comic is definitely decanonized, which is great. I'm really excited to do a full review of that. Like, JJ versus decanonized for Prime, full on. And it's so subtle as well. I love it. It's so subtle. You have to really think about it to pick it up.
An Observer Dude puts in £2. Where is Enterprise E?
Somewhere.
In his memory. We see it in the archives. It's in the museum.
And to be fair, we might actually see the Enterprise E a scene in there. I mean, if they want to go all out, if there's a reason for it, we might see that, maybe in his crew quarters or something. And I've said before that they should definitely just do green screen scene, scenes and show, have them in the Enterprise E. Why not?
Yeah. And Jill 47,
hey.
$2. Thank you, Jill. Is someone sending Picard messages via nanoprobes?
I asked that question.
Could very well be.
Because he does know. I mean, it'd be such a nice payoff if this was all. Then Brent is not even remotely playing Data. He's playing the Data memory corrupted by the Borg. Another reason for him to come back is he's not playing Data. And that's one of the things This scene is great. It is. And I kind of wish it was about a minute longer to actually enjoy it more. Yeah. Or have a little bit of walk and talk. The only thing I don't like about the scene is that Brent's voice is a bit like this. He's not strong in the... Which is strange because we've met Brent. I met him several times. We met him after they filmed this, and his voice was strong and powerful, and he sounded like Data. So he might have had a cold this day, but he did not sound right. And this close-up, as we said, is basically amazing. The close-up is really well done. The long shot not so much because the hair's a little bit off and the brow's a bit off, and But I wish his voice was a bit stronger. Maybe it was try and match Patrick Stewart, but it felt like he was maybe ill. Apart from that, though, yeah.
Jeff Jacobs, $2, 200 likes again at 250. Let's get to 400 likes. Hashtag make Jeff pay. 458 of you here. That is awesome, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. It's really simple to do. Just look for a little thumb, hit it, and get those likes up. And also make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more great content. So, all right. So, yeah, and this is a great conversation between the two of them with his little eye dilation, which I didn't notice the first time. Second time, I did notice it. Just a nice little...
What's that?
This conversation they have about Data's tell for poker.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't notice the dilation at first, but second viewing I did. And, I love the discussion. So apparently he says, now that you've pointed that out, Captain, so he does do a contraction. Again, not an issue because it's a dream.
But also the writers didn't remember he doesn't speak in contractions.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not... It was also the com badge isn't actually straight. And there's also little things they haven't attention to detailed. Yeah. But I mean, his lips. They just didn't do his lips properly. lots of small things that they should have had another month of pre-production maybe of Picard, but they rushed it out. I mean, we know they did. But it's, the fact this is polished as it is. And yeah, this tell scene is great. Like I said, this is right out of Nemesis, TNG. Is this the scene we deserved? I just wish it was a bit longer.
Yeah. Then there's the strange fact that he lays down 5 Queen of Hearts, and Picard's kind of reaction to that.
Now, what do you think that can mean then? Because that's a specific thing.
Well, I mean, Queen, board Queen instantly comes to mind. Also, people have been saying Q because Q.
Oh, okay.
As for 5, I have no idea.
Yeah, I just assumed
wasn't Q 3 of 5 or some shit? Anyway, you can
Q
draw
of 5.
A lot of. Well, we know Q's coming, so I don't know.
I like the Q idea. I mean, wasn't there once a thing where Q was giving visions to somebody? Because that'd be kind of fun if Data is actually it's not necessarily fun, but if Q's trying to help him out, there's a big thing. I don't know. I don't want Q in this season because then it's everything, Wait for season 2. But yes, then Mars is bombed, and you get a rather cute Patrick saying, "Oh, I didn't think we're on course to Mars. This is really strange." Then it gets bombed.
And Jill 47 puts in $2. Someone telling Picard that Data has 5 daughters. That's a stretch, I think, but interesting.
It will mean something, and all these things could be.
Yes.
Unless they forget about it.
Yeah. Good tea, nice house, $5 Canadian.
Thank you.
I love how disjointed his dreams were with small inaccuracies. How many of us can dream about an old car with exact precision, or the face of a lost love? Exactly. So. Yeah.
No, and I absolutely said that. The best way of having Data back and you get to say, it's fine, is just make a dream. It's a great way of doing it. I just wish there was more dreams. There will be more dreams, or visions as they might be. For this whole bombing Mars, though, I felt a bit strange that there wasn't any detail on Mars, that there's no, Planitia isn't there, and there aren't space docks in orbit. It feels like such an empty destruction,
Again, dream.
Yeah, but but you'd think you'd dream about the things getting blown up. It's not because the planet wasn't getting blown up, it was the stuff on the planet. I don't know. Yeah. Just a lot to render.
But then we get introduced to number 1, nice little dog.
This.
And I gotta admit, I love number 1 in this show so far.
And I'm not a pet person, so I'm just like, don't care at all.
Yeah. Prime 1351 puts in $1.99. Lord Data's mom, Daj 2 equals 5.
Daj 2, love it. I love that. Yeah. And did you like that in this opening scene that there's a lot of wide-angle lenses in his room to make it feel extra empty, that his life is empty?
Yes.
Real subtle. Good touch, though.
Big empty house. Yeah.
Because this is the start of the Picard as sad man. And I think you really only notice that the second time round when you really understand why. Because at first you're like, it's Picard. When you watch it back, it's like, yeah, he's playing it like another day.
Yeah.
Because I rewatched it with All Good Things, and the way he's working on the vineyard, even though he's terminally ill in essence, he's more chipper than this. So it's interesting to see how. And my last note before we jump back in, I was sadly disappointed to just rewatch Family, and there's no sci-fi buildings at the vineyard in the distance like they had in Family, so they kind of forgot to add all the buildings that would be around.
Maybe we just didn't get a look in that direction.
Sure.
Plus the house is different, but whatever.
Yeah. Same land though.
Yeah. Ginkgo Yoki puts in $2.
Oh no! Sorry, you disappeared, Stuart.
Prime.
Sorry, Stuart. You stopped.
But you gotta tell me where. I don't want to repeat everything.
Sorry, you said a super chat, but I didn't hear any of the super chat.
Oh, Ginkgo Yoki, $2. There are 5 lights, so maybe 5 cards.
Yeah.
Prime 1351, $1.99.
Thank you.
Picard's life is a metaphor for Star Trek.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, Star Trek just wants to die at this point. That's
Damn.
funny. Maybe he'll perk up by the end. Who knows?
Oh, he will. And guys, 493 people watching. I want to hit 500, so like, share, subscribe, put it everywhere. I really want to see 500. But yes, it cuts from Picard waking up to one of the most pleasant surprises of the entire episode. It cuts to, okay, random space place, doesn't matter. But we see Daj. And she's not in a prison. She's not a Borg prison. She's not she's with an alien boyfriend and they're having a nice chat and meal. What a great little, oh, damn, okay.
Did you know that this alien boyfriend is the same species as Poe from the Discovery? Mrs. Irie crystallized dilithium.
Oh.
Yeah, same eyes, same blink, same facial.
Boo.
Yeah. Captain Casey Stewart, $2. Is the teacup actually the Enterprise, TNG Enterprise D cup?
Yes, it is.
I think they were asking about the one that Picard was using.
And it was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm saying it was this cup he used. Yeah, they knew to get his cup.
Did you guys see the Ferengi symbol on one of the buildings?
No.
Let's see.
Someone said there's
Boston.
a Ferengi somewhere, but I didn't.
Shut up.
Well, let's see if we can all see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's. I mean, beyond subtle.
Where is it?
So.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. I see it. Okay.
I mean, that's like.
Never mind.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, okay. Thanks, guys. But thank you.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff Jacobs, $2. 250 again at tree. Hashtag Trek is back like Spike. All right, cool.
Really? And Minkin 2, Trekyards, get back! There's a Castor Yates advert on the skyscrapers. What?
506 people here. We got over the 500 mark. Welcome, guys. Let's see.
Where?
Cassidy Yates.
I mean, it's Kings, but that's the only text on it, surely? Dunno. Anyway, Stuart, what do you think of this scene? This romantic, nice, chill, lounging celebration. You know, lovely. Nice.
I thought it was nice and lovely, as you say.
Never gonna go wrong.
I was surprised we got introduced to Daj so quickly and in this manner. I thought it was quite nice, nice calming moment.
This I would call a successful subversion of expectations.
Yes.
And I love her dialogue as well, because these two actually have a genuine like chemistry for the little time they shared together. Like, I actually bought their relationship, which is actually quite an achievement as well.
Yeah.
And she says he's obviously at somewhere because I said see you at the mess hall, but she got agreed. She now work at the Daystrom Institute, which we'll see later, which is great. But a bit of a coincidence there. So there must be quite a long like who she is in the format of the world of Earth. You know, she's quite heavily, cemented undercover, as it were.
And we've got the alien orchid that does its
cute. Yeah,
a little neat thing.
Although it's fun that people say, oh, they ran out of money, they couldn't design a new shuttle, but they could spend money on animating a CGI orchid. So when you say they ran out of money, no, they didn't. They chose not to spend it. There's a difference. I mean, it's nice, but I'd rather have a new shuttle design. I'll be honest with you.
Yes. And no one can fault you for that.
My little complaint with this scene is just that it's incredibly generic. Especially if you didn't know who Daj was, this scene could be out of any sci-fi anywhere. It could be BSG, could be Firefly, could be Farscape, anything. And that's why a lot of civilian stuff, I think, doesn't feel like Trek in the same way. When you start getting the uniform stuff and things that have a actual Trek something, the vibe comes back. I think it's one of the things I don't connect this episode fully, is because it misses a lot of that Trek just world feel. And it's hard to establish that. I mean, even in like DS9 and TNG, they always went back to the same botanical garden, and that was the Trek feel you got. So it's kind of like you were limited with what you could feel. But I mean, this is just a room. I mean, it's as generic as you. It's nice, but as generic as you could make. You know.
Yeah. But then they beam in. They throw a knife into her boyfriend, and they throw her down rather roughly on the table, and they start swiping a thing, and they say she's not activated yet. They put the things on her head, and yeah,
and it's a very abrupt, like incredibly abrupt transition. I mean, hell of a response time to throw a knife at a guy 1/2 a second after you beamed into the room. I mean, he had that knife ready, didn't he?
You would know what room you're going into, though. You'd see life forms where they're standing. So
You would think
I
so.
have no issue with that. Samuel Ray, $2. Opinions on Seth Trek and McFarlane as a worthy torchbearer. Seth Trek. You mean Orville?
I mean,
I don't know.
I love Seth MacFarlane and his work.
Yeah. Meow Nian, $2.79 Canadian. Dodge Caravan. Oh, that's funny. Star Trek's very own replicant. Yeah.
Manix36, they're choosing not to spend money on new shuttles because average viewers don't care about Discovery shuttles. But remember, if you design a new shuttle, you get to sell it as Eagle Moss in posters and Star Trek Online in Bridge Commander. So, sorry, man. X36, completely opposite. More people will care and they'll make a lot more money and things from that.
Jersey at $2. London Knights logo must mean baseball is revived.
I assumed that.
Or they're just having like a nostalgia night. Caleb Horn, $10.
Oh, thank
Braxton. Dodge was his sleeper agent on Earth that was meant to free other synths. He wanted to. And Romulans helped create her. Didn't want trouble. They're trying to stop her. Interesting theory for sure.
What? That's a lot of theory stuff, isn't it? That's a dense theory. Can I just have a tiny rant, but it's like tiny, and see what you think. I don't like that they called androids synths or synthetics.
Yeah.
It annoyed me to no end because it's
a slang term, though, and when something bad happens, that's what humans default to.
But they never used it ever. Like, maybe Measure of a Man, but that was about him specifically. Like, it's androids. So, synth felt like they don't want to use the word android because they want to do something new. You know, the synths attack. It feels too Blade Runner. It doesn't feel... It's not the word that they would do in Star Trek, really. It just felt so strange. But just the androids. Why do you have to make a new word? You have the exact terminology. And there's... I mean, are holograms synthetic? They're not synths? If holograms are walking around?
I wondered that too.
So, I mean, it just feels such an inelegant word. And I kind of like I think they wanted specifically to make it like an offensive term because these people are marginalized or their ethnicity or whatever. There's something that we're paralleling, and we can't call them androids because Data was an android. But if we make a new word, they're the synths. Ooh, the synthetics. You know, forcing a new word that already feels uncomfortable to me. That they just want to be basically a racial type, a new... I just didn't like it. It bugged me to no end. I don't know if it bugged you, but I didn't like every time I said it, personally.
Didn't bug me at all.
Okay.
Good teen, nice house, $5. What did you think of the very modern cutaway to this Dodge scene? Very different from 80s, 90s Trek. Loved it. I loved them inserting music. I thought it was cool. I liked the way this was filmed and set up. I have no real issues with that.
Yeah, as a filmmaker, I don't mind if they modernize the filming style. I mean, have you seen Discovery? You know, and none of this stuff. I mean, I don't think it was shot like beautifully or amazingly, but I mean, it was modern. They had some nice angles. But I mean, the whole episode is meant to be dark and slow to represent Picard. So you know what I mean? Yeah, modern style's fine. I mean, yes, it's very Jason Bourne-y. All the fight scenes are very just like... It's just... they had very little personality of its own. Or very Black Widow, but very Jason Bourne. I mean, it's one of those things that people are saying, you know, it's one of those cliches that they're just doing, you know. But it's okay, whatever, fine. Wait for the story to be unfolded, you know.
Well, David Bessick, $2. Ooh. Hooray for 507 viewers, most I've ever seen on a live. Well, we've got over 630 before. on our D7 video.
I was about to say, I think we had like 660. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It's a good
Jill
day.
47, $2. Synth struck me as a racial epithet or slur.
Epithet, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for summarizing. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, exactly. I didn't like that. Now, what do you think? What do you think they're doing? They put a thing on her head and they scroll through some. They're actually now looking in freeze frame. That's clearly a Romulan interface. Good job.
Yeah.
And they're scrolling through things. Like, I didn't. So now I can talk to you about it. What do you think they were doing here? Because I'm not sure I know.
Well, they're looking for she's got a positronic matrix, organic brain, whatever. Yeah. They're scrolling through to see whether she's been activated, because they do that and she hasn't been activated yet. So they put the bag over her head, and then, oh shit, she's activated. Yeah, so that would be my thought, that they put these on to scan to see whether she's,
I mean, you could just scan with a scanner. I mean, the second officer scene is incredibly kind of lazy. No, stop her. Like, what do they say? They do say stun her, and they put a bag over her head. It's like, you've got guns that come out of your arms. And just the stupidity of a scene where say, is she activated? No. And then you doing the thing activates her. I mean, what a dumb moment. This was the first dumb moment in the episode. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's not a good that's not a good moment. It doesn't play right. Now, if she's being beaten up, and then it's like you've seen Last Action Hero? Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yep. When the daughter is being punched, then she looks at the camera, has like a bigger smile, then turns and breaks his arm. Like, there's a turn, Her thing goes from being like she's nothing and activated, but for no reason. Like, it doesn't...
Well, she had a bag thrown on her head.
What does that mean?
We didn't see that look in her eyes when she got activated.
But then why was the bag even in the scene? Like, it's such a dumb... Like, hyper-spray her, shoot her. It doesn't make sense. It's not a smart scene. It would have been fine if they had, like, punched her in the face, hadn't worked, or stunned her, didn't work. But I think the bag just is dumb and plays dumb.
Ginkgo Yoki, $5. Synthetic used in Alien, already an insult. Didn't have the same impact as it could.
I know why the bag's Stuart.
Why?
Because the stunt woman's doing the fighting. Sorry, that's why she got a bag. So she can stunt woman it, because the actress can't do that. Sorry, I just realised.
Observer dude, £5. Picard should have a dream of Shinzon still being alive, where he's reformed.
That would be good. I mean, dream sequence, you can bring back anybody, can't you?
Yeah.
Now, question then. These guards go down like nothing. Do you think this is all one big setup? That they actually activated her deliberately? And that, like, maybe they were given a pad, like, whatever they did, they didn't think it was going to activate her, but it was designed to. That's why it did things. And then they would cannon fodder. Because they go down really easily. Like, it feels too contrived. Do you think it's all part of the setup? Because we said later on, they're actively missing her, it feels like. What do you think? Setup? Or actually there to check if she's activated?
Neither. They're there to grab her. And they just are typical movie and TV trope of bad guys getting their asses kicked.
Okay. Just feels dumb. Because you would think just beam in and shoot her, and then say, is she activated? No. Well, now we can scan her. I think this is a lazily written scene. Once you get to the actual action bit. But now she's activated! And she just killed them quite quickly.
And then she gets a flash of Picard. Then we get the opening credits, which...
Oh, and not just that, but we get the blade, which I love. It was a good touch. Clearly a Romulan dagger. I mean, that's like Romulan designed to a T, and I thought it was a nice touch.
Yeah. Then we get the Kraken time from Dr. Who, but...
Yeah, that was nice. That's her world, her life, Picard's life shattering. Her memories, that was nice. What do you think of the theme song? Because this is one of those, that blowback that came from Enterprise, and then we get this. What do you think?
I was wondering if anybody was going to compare this to Enterprise.
Well, that got back. I'm just saying that got blowback. So, what do you think of this then?
I like it. I like the approach to it. It's not typical Star Trek, obviously, but it's got a good vibe to it. I have no issues with it. So I enjoyed it.
I definitely like Enterprise more. I mean, this is so forgettable, and I mean, just it's probably my least favorite one instantly. It doesn't. I mean, it's just nothing really. You know, I think I even like Discovery more. I think I like the visuals though. The visuals are nice because they clearly show. You know, I like the fact there's two cells and they're splitting, but those are the positronic, you know, cyber cells. I thought it was quite a nice. Like I already guessed some of the stuff from it as we went. Like build in the eye was great. But no, I'm wondering why people don't have more blowback on this because it's definitely worse than Enterprise in my perspective. I mean, you know, could have been better. Could have been better. Well, I listened to the dude's reason why he composed it. And I like his reasoning. It's pretty plain.
I like it though. So, Prime 1351 $1.99. Wish the disruptor bolts were green. So.
And also, we did explain how they're background people. They're people that don't want to be known as Romulans. So if these green bolts, they're probably using weapons that don't register as Romulan, because that would be weird to use Romulan weapons. So not being green actually makes a lot of sense here.
Yeah. Eugene, 500 rubles. Opening is nicer than Discovery, but 19 producers. Damn. Well, that seems to be the trend these days, though. And let's see what we got here. We got Brian Sontag, $1.99.
Thank you.
You need to watch Ready Room to explain the song.
I did watch it.
I didn't.
I got it. Doesn't mean I like it more. I mean, I just don't think it worked. So, or this is just the most forgettable one.
In Jersey at $5. I think it's better piece of music than disco, but it's easily the most sedated intro. It's nice, but has no energy. Whatever that is actually really grew on me. Oh, Faith of the Heart. Yeah, I like Faith of the Heart. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be sedated. I think it represents the mood of the show, with Picard just kind of being, you know, not an action hero.
No, well, that's the thing. This whole show is not a Star Trek show. It's a character show. It's about Picard. So it's not an ensemble piece in the same way. It's not a big exploration piece. It is the journey of one man. So it's unlike any other Trek we'll ever get. You know, it's like having a Star Trek Geordie LaForge. It's like, I still hate the name. Like, I know it's marketing, but remember I laughed when we thought it was a fake one. It's gonna be called Star Trek Picard. I laughed out loud. No, it's not. It's like, oh, it is. Shit. Oh. But, you know, easy marketing that way. Just a dumb name. But yes, another day on the farm.
Yeah. And we get introduced to his two companions, his Romulan friends.
Speaks French, Stuart. You forgot speaks French to his dog. And we hear actual Patrick Stewart French.
Yep.
How was that?
It's fine.
It's nice, yeah. Yes.
We're an hour in and we're like 10 minutes into the show, so I'm just trying to expedite things.
That's what happens, though. I was expecting a 3-hour one, so.
Jars, you get $2. It fits the show, but I won't hum it in the shower.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, maybe after watching it.
I honestly can't even remember it. I couldn't even tell you anything of it, honestly.
Yeah. We find out today is a big day. Oh, and also she mentions, you weren't sleeping well. Bad dreams again. Oh, the dreams are wonderful. It's the waking up I'm beginning to resent.
It's a really good line. I think we can all kind of relate to that on some days.
Oh, yes.
Now, what do you think of these two Romulans as introduced? Because we get a little bit of each character.
I like them. I really do. I think they're nice, quiet people, and it really shatters your thoughts of what Romulans are.
Yes, exactly.
And, yeah, I like each of them. I hope nothing bad happens to them. And I hope they're not actually turned out to be like plants or something that are. Yeah, I don't want them to be bad guys.
No, I thought they're lovely. They're as I said in our review, they're not great acting in the sense that they don't like, oh my god, they're just nice people. And not Romulans. They don't really act like Romulans at all. In fact, the dude acts like a Vulcan, which I thought was an interesting contrast, that he acts very Vulcan-y. Why not? Variation on the theme. But I thought, they're just nice people, and a clear respect Picard. But I mean, they've obviously been here for like 10 years. You know what I mean? They've just been, this is just, they're like his only friends at this point, in a sense. So it's a very like casual relationship. No, I think they're great, actually. Good casting too.
Timothy Miller says all this crying about the shuttles, so much crying, jeez.
this is a spaceship review show. If you went to a politics show, you'd feel a bit about politics. If you went to, I mean, this is our show, so there you go.
Yeah. If you don't like it, step off. 521 watching right now, guys. Everybody hit like and make sure you are subscribed for more.
Ooh. People are saying they're Tal Shiar, like sleeper Tal Shiar, to look after him or whatever.
That's what I'm worried about.
Well, the Nightbringer says it can explain who they are and why. I mean, they're just refugees that found their way into his service. They offered help. They offered help on the farm. There's more Romulans out there doing garden work. I assume all of the people on the farm are Romulans. They're just here looking for a life, and they picked Vineyard in France with a guy that helped. Well, I guess didn't help save them at all. Maybe did. I don't know. And did you like how the lady has completely smooth ridge, but he's got ridges?
Mm-hmm.
So variation already.
Yeah, I really love that.
And then you get the Replicator, which they've changed the design and style. It's more a 3D printer.
Yeah.
With a beam of light, which makes it, I think we both agreed, it feels a lot less advanced than TNG, Voyager. I mean, this feels like a step backwards in terms of tech. But we explained why in a video, so do look. I think one earlier today actually.
Yeah. I do like the L-cars on the Replicator. I love its TOS colors.
Yeah.
Red, yellow, and green. I really like that. So.
And they do love their holograms that just are in the air. They've fully committed to Discovery style holograms. Just things are holograms now. They weren't for 260 years, but now in the last 30 years they've developed holograms, or 20 years.
Yep, I totally buy that.
It kind of makes it feel like every sci-fi now. You know, it loses an identity that they were keeping that back. They were keeping it like very grounded. Now it's just holograms. Because as you've said before, do you really want to look through a TV that you can see through? Like, it's the least efficient way to watch a show is through a see-through surface.
Yep.
You know, so it's less functional than anything ever. But whatever. Visitor alert. Although I was convinced we were going to see Riker here. I thought it was the day of mourning for Romulus' destruction. I thought he was going to have some of his friends come round just to have like a meal. And so it's weird that he says the first one's arrived, and it's the first media, or is the first people of the media? I guess. I don't know. I thought like his first guest, but it wasn't. Media.
Yeah, and then you see the media lady picking out her makeup for the filter for the camera, which is cool.
It's fun.
Brian Sontag, $1.99. I think they are Tal Shiar from Countdown. I mean, maybe.
I mean, Countdown's not canon anymore, so you can't take anything from that as being.
Well, it's talking about the new Countdown, the Picard one.
Is that called Countdown?
Yeah.
They're both called Countdown.
Yeah. Okay. Prime 1351, $1.99.
Thank you.
Bashir, how did we survive with 2D controls? Very well, thank you. But yeah, they prep them up and say, we sometimes I wonder if you forget what you've done. We haven't forgotten. The other guy says, yeah, I've talked to her. She's not going to ask anything about leaving Starfleet. And then the woman gives him a great piece of advice. Be the captain they remember, which I thought was fantastic. I think somebody on set probably said that to him. And they're like, oh, we got to incorporate that in, because it would be something you'd say to the actor as well. Be the captain that we remember, or at some point during the production meetings it came up. So, love the line though. It's fantastic. Yeah,
no, absolutely. Although it's funny because he only knew him as Admiral, so it's just weird he said Captain. And since this is a day of mourning when he was an Admiral, it seems like the line doesn't quite fit. But he probably knows him better. Like, they probably talked about it. I bet Picard said, I hated being an Admiral. I was Admiral for 6 years and I did nothing but good. But when I was a Captain, boy, I did. So I'm really adding, like, bonus context to it. Like, I'm really forcing it to make sense. But I can imagine that's what he's saying. Be the best you, which was Captain Picard.
Yeah. I should have listened to that Kirk guy. Eugene, 200 rubles. About those two Romulans, I can't shake the feeling that they're actually a product of Picard's imagination. Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, there's a few clues throughout that stuff isn't real. I'll get into one specific bit. I'm saying now, I don't want robotic syndrome to be a thing. Should have been cured 2-3 decades ago, or 2 decades ago. Well, 3, I guess, 5 generations. All good things. But yeah, there's certainly potential evidence there.
Yeah, and Jeff Jacobs, $2.
Thank you.
300 again at $350. Hashtag make Jeff pay. Hashtag love it. 518 of you guys here. That is awesome, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, though. Getting the likes up is important, so let's do that. So then we get a flash, the history of his career, basically, and we see Michael Dorn, Worf. We got a actual Klingon that's not Klingorkified, Discovery-fied.
I still don't like the news network. It feels
Federation News Network.
It feels so modern, trying to be modern, trying to be future, rather than just actually future.
Yep.
It's very contrived, and I don't like it.
What happened to TV? Disappeared in 2047. Didn't last much beyond that.
Yeah, it's
from season 2 of TNG.
Yeah, no, it's just that the team who's making this wants it to be a modern parallel rather than a timeless classic. TOS is timeless. It dealt with issues that were now, then, and always. This is going to be very dated. Enterprise Season 3 is somewhat dated, but it's once you go past the initial we got attacked, the season, the Xindi aren't Muslims. There's no parallel to the actual cause, it's just the fact that we got attacked. So they only went for the single shock value parallel. The entire season isn't the parallel. The Muslims weren't being affected by people from the future. You know what I mean? But yes, he's being interviewed, live interview. And as I said to my dad, because he watched it too, I got really distinct flashbacks here to when I interviewed him in his house. Because, even his acting, I interviewed him in the exact same way and in a very similar room. And boy, his exact acting was the same to me. So because I said to you in the original review that I met this man looking like this, 6 months before he filmed this. So I have a personal relationship with old man Patrick Stewart. So when I saw this scene especially, I was like, that's just Patrick. That's just Sir Pat, So that was quite weird for me. Although Mum points out that he's got a cool future knot. She pointed that out.
Yeah, I noticed that too. It's like a 3 weird knot.
I like it. I like his jacket. It's good.
Yeah, the jacket's cool, for sure. But she talks about... Again, I don't have my notes, so I'm just trying to... she talks about the saving, you wanted to save Romulan lives. You thought that was important.
No.
And he's like, no, lives. And I saw that line coming. That was telegraphed.
Yeah.
And then he said he can be quite persuasive because Starfleet decided to do that. And so it's all on him, essentially. And I have the feeling that he went rogue after Starfleet decided to... I think he saved some Romulans on his own and then decided to quit Starfleet after that.
I mean, this is the only background we really get in the entire episode, and I wish we'll get more. It's a build-up. And it's funny how the Romulan dude's like, oh yeah, she promised 3 times in a row she won't talk about Starfleet. You can never trust reporters, even in the 2399s. Yeah, I mean, it was in the ready room that he threatened to leave Starfleet if they didn't build the first Armada.
Yeah.
Or if they didn't help him the second time, and they didn't, so that's why he had to quit, because he had to follow up on his own threat. So he left because they wouldn't help again. But they explain in this scene that, yes, he moves from the Enterprise to command this fleet. I mean, that's when he took the Admiralty, so he could be a fleet commander. Don't know.
Yeah.
And then the fleet was under construction, and then he got attacked by rogue synths out of nowhere. There's no context given at all. It's incredibly random. And the fleet gets destroyed for some reason, and then they don't do another one, and Romulans die. It's quite an odd framing. The way they explain it doesn't quite fit.
Well, I have the feeling that it happened simultaneously. While they were rescuing Romulans, this disaster happened because Utopia Planitia would probably be empty at that point because the fleet left already.
Well, they say the fleet was destroyed, though. They didn't have time to build another one. That's why it's confusing.
I didn't get that at all.
Oh.
I didn't hear that. Just that Starfleet pulled out and didn't want to help the Romulans because they had to get back and help with the Mars attack thing.
Don't think you'd need 900 million worth of space for that. You know what I mean? Like, the thing doesn't make sense. There's more of a story here, obviously. Doesn't quite make sense. And again, I'll refer to what we said earlier, that, you know, it was the Romulan Empire. Romulans had tens of thousands of ships. You can absolutely evacuate Romulus. You don't need Starfleet to spend several years building a fleet. What are you on about? That hopefully it'll be explained, but currently the whole evacuation doesn't make sense. It just purely doesn't. I mean, maybe they were like evacuating every planet, and the Federation was tasked with the most important planet, Romulus, because they wouldn't do that first with their own ships, would they, Stuart? No. You know what I mean? Doesn't make any sense. We'll get there. Hopefully they'll explain it. Or it's just Kurtzman bad writing. Yeah.
David Bessick, $5. I hated this lady. She was rude from the start to finish. And I was like, what's the point of this? Why is she seeming to attack him in the interview? I agree. Well, I do like his response to the Starfleet thing, though.
It's because it's the exclusive, I guess. This is a one chance to interview him. So, yeah. I mean, you know, push him if I can, I guess. But yeah, she got a longer interview with more stuff.
Eugene, 250 rubles. Britain didn't build 10,000 ships for Dunkirk. They utilized existing military and merchant fleets. Why didn't Federation do the same?
Yep.
Wow, that's why some people say that there's the Maggie class and all that shit in Children of Mars, because they're just pulling out old ships that never existed in this timeline. They're pulling those out of mothballs to help with the evacuation. So.
Sure.
Yep. Because it wasn't Starfleet. What? Because it wasn't Starfleet. What they did was almost criminal. They left those people to die. And yeah, I loved that part. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and leaves, like shuts her down.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she ruined the interview. She made him yell at her.
Very well done.
Yeah. Oh, this is why I said to you in our previous review that any scene where it links to canon, the acting's better. There's a more this is great because it is just very tangible in the story. You know, he's genuinely giving information. He's reacting as the character. He's not just saying, "Who are you? Where are you? What's happening?" to Daj or whoever. He's really being Picard. This is definitely one of the highlight scenes for sure. Although, same again. If Starfleet left them to die, I guess the Romulans did too. They didn't bother saving the capital. Okay. Although I like the line that she says, the news reporter, some Federation don't want to put resources to save our oldest foe, which is funny because it is actually the Romulan War. We haven't met the Klingons. I guess they weren't necessarily the foe at that point, but the oldest war in space was Romulans. And you always forget that because they never really showed it. But yeah, the oldest foe. Well, that was a long time before anyone was born ever. So you would think people would be over it. Over it. You know what I mean.
Well, Jill 47 puts in $2. Are farm workers aliens from the Romulan colony in the comic? No, because they weren't purple. Or 7 feet tall. Or whatever. So no, they weren't.
Another side thing, even before they mention the synth attack, she shows clips of the synth attack saying you built a fleet. But it's like, these are the attack ships. That's not a fleet. The fleet are different. They felt like they put in the wrong footage there. Oops. So I can't imagine these tiny ships are the rescue fleet. And then the rescue fleet attacked Mars. I think they just put the wrong footage there. Or she was trying to... I don't know. It's just reused from the other short, but I think it just did the wrong thing there.
Yeah. Ryan Hale, $2. Only 900 million people on both Romulus and Remus? Question mark. Seems odd. Yeah.
I guess 900 left. I mean, you could argue there was 25 billion, which
they evacuated most of them. Yeah.
And then the rescue fleet was because I mean you could probably make it quite visceral if you actually go the harsh route and say the Romulans managed to evacuate all the important people, all 2.1 billion, but left all the poor, all the downtrodden, all the Remans, and Picard was like, these are the people that need help. That's the point. And therefore, those are most sad they died. that I would buy, but that would make Romans very much villains, and we're being presented them, at least with the good ones, as being nice. But I can imagine that would be quite a nice payoff, because then they did. But then there shouldn't be a sense of the Empire falling down, because then, of course, Praetor left, all of Tal Shiar left. Like, the Empire just moved. So you either got to kill them all or not kill them all. Again, I don't think it makes sense. They haven't thought it through properly. We'll get there, though.
Captain Casey Stewart, $2.
Thank you.
You hear that USA has a Starfleet now called Star Force? Yes. With no assets in space that we're aware of.
And then Daj looks inside. I just don't care. And then Taj looks inside. I don't either. She looks in the window, and for some reason, the Discovery shuttle leaves. They just had to punch us in the face. Didn't have to put it there. Like,
nope.
It's such a sign of fuck you, and it's not even. The only thing that's different is that the Basard's now headlights. They've even got the landing back at the back. Such a fuck you. Terrible. I'm not going to swear much in this one. That's kind of the only thing, but yeah. Whatever.
But she sees Picard and recognizes his face. But Samuel Ray puts in $2, $10 billion on Vulcan, $999 million on Romulus. And David Bessig, $2. My above super chat got missed. It's important. David Bessig. Oh yes, $5. Not to mention post-Dominion War and Romulans were allies. So why the hell would she have bad blood against them at this time?
Because she's a racist? I don't know.
Yeah, speciesist.
I mean, it's true. I mean, they're forcing prejudice that might not even be there. Although she could just be a reporter trying to say things. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. But then we're calmed down again. Picard is hanging out with number one at the vineyard, just
getting
relaxing.
drunk.
And he said a quote about truth. Again, my notes are gone because I guess they didn't save or something.
Sorry, Stuart. I'm sorry.
That's all right. But and then Dawes shows up, and I love how the pit bull runs towards her and then starts licking her hand.
And this is quite an abrupt scene. In many ways. First of all, we've always seen this in the trailer, but also she had to find him, beam to him. Because if it's this easy, why isn't he getting visitors all the time? It felt kind of there should have been one stage between this and that. Yeah. And I doubt she's done a whole find him yet, because that was surprising to her later. So so I guess she just Googled his name, but you would think after an interview like that, you'd have several people around the world that say, "Oh, I'd love to meet him. I'll just go to his vineyard." So I wish there was one more stage in between. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree.
And some of the reviews online said this episode pace is really all over the place. It just burns through content like no one's business. Exposition and then this to this quickly and then I kind of agree. It's a bit uneven, which tells you that this isn't important in a sense. We have to get through this bit, through the trailer stuff to get the actual plot, which is very intriguing to me because we burn all the way through this stuff.
And Alan Parr says at Trekyards, it said on the interview screen where he was. Yeah, his vineyard in France. So,
I mean, you still got to Google it. I mean, you still have to have coordinates. I definitely buy that you can beam there in 5 minutes. I mean, that's great because of course you can be around the Earth. But yeah.
Yeah. And she asked him, do you know who I am? Do you know me? And he's like, no, I don't know who you are.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I love the where they're stitching up her wound with the thermal regenerator thing. It's like actually doing a stitch pattern.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this is classic. I've always liked these. My only problem with the Picard Daj scene is that all they do is recycle she just tells them literally what happened without any editing.
Yeah.
It's a very dull scene. The acting's really good, except Picard's a bit like, "What? Are you okay? I'm sorry. Who?" It's very one line. It's very. I just wish there was something else to it rather than just explaining the scene we saw. They both showed us and told us.
Yeah.
And I wish they hadn't. But yes.
Howard's 96, $5. I don't like the idea of Data being gone. I want Captain Data.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to B4 later. And then you get a rather cute scene, and this is one of those scenes that I expressed to you earlier that don't feel like Trek because the environment is just a generic room. I mean, this could be any show ever. So there's lots of these scenes that just there's nothing Trek here except John Luke, and I see him as Patrick Stewart. If there's been more Trek, that's why I said before. But just having the uniform makes a massive difference. I think that's why when he walks around in his sort of half uniform, that's going to help as well because it's something Trek.
Well, even here, the maroon color of his sweater, and he's got the pin where the comm badge would be.
Yeah.
It's a visual like we know what you look like in that.
Yeah. I agree, but I think I didn't make that connection at all, so it wasn't strong enough to link to me.
It linked to me immediately.
Right.
Dave Scarpa, $1.99.
Thank you.
Does Earth have security? Police take Picard home? Well, we'll get there when we get there.
Police take Picard home.
After he gets blowed up.
Oh, well. Yes.
Oh, we're incoming rant, I guess, guys.
Well, sure. Look, I see more things, I guess. This scene had one of those little laugh out loud moments for me. I love their chemistry, I'll say that. I think they knocked that out of the park right away. But Picard's like, oh, that's an interesting necklace. And he takes it from her, and it's like, John Luke, it's the most boring necklace possible. It's as if they wrote it, didn't know what they were going to do, and then I bet everyone set was like, this isn't a very interesting necklace, and everyone loves it. It's like, really bizarre scripting choice. It's like, just 2 circles. Least interesting possible.
I thought it was kind of odd. It's like, I said the same thing in my first reaction view. It's not like I'm walking around in public at the mall and go, oh, that's a really nice necklace. It's really unique. Can I take a look at it?
And it's just
What's
a triangle.
The history of it?
It's just a triangle.
It's just like,
Yeah. It's like saying, oh, Stuart, this is a really interesting shape. It's like, I mean, it's a diamond. Okay, I just think I bet someone laughed on set because it feels so disingenuous. The line they didn't actually link art department with. It just makes me laugh. Because Patrick's quite a smart man, Picard.
Yeah.
It's not that interesting a necklace. And it's
Prime 1351 to 099. That explosion would have broken all his bones.
Future bones, though.
It's the future. They fixed them. They knitted the bones before he woke up. It's fine.
And Mark Henson is eating chili mac while watching us. So thank you for watching us.
SWTX Chaser, $2. Dr. Xavier and Rogue X-Men vibe. Yeah,
that's
pretty much so.
Hank said that. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, Nankim, I missed his super chat, $5. The quote was, no legacy is so rich as honesty, from a Shakespearean play. Nice, subtle nod to the whole Picard Data acting Shakespeare. Yeah. It's
a very, he just says it randomly, but I love it, It's a bad edit, but I like what he's saying, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like the scene between the two of them. It's gentle, it's slow, it's nice. I don't remember what they talked about, to be honest. But it's just nice.
And he gives her a Earl Grey tea and she doesn't touch it.
Yes, she really doesn't. I think she needs one good deep sleep. Yes, she does, yes. No, it's cute.
Necklace is half of the Audi logo, says Paul. Yeah, well, you put them together, you got a full car. They both have a necklace too.
Right, I got to go to the bathroom, but I'll let you talk about the next scene with Data and the dream thing. So I'll be back in 1 moment.
All right. So anyway, Picard has another dream sequence, and here he opens up his window, much like he did after he woke up from the first one, and he looks out and he sees the tree, and Data is painting under the tree, and he walks out and he is now wearing his TNG uniform. Walks up to Data painting this picture, and Data hands him the paintbrush and says, would you care to finish, Captain? To which Picard says, I don't know how, because the face was unfinished in the painting. Data says, well, that's not true, sir, because we just met Dodge, and that's what the face is, but we don't know that yet. But anyway, Interesting scene. I do like the fact that they're both wearing the TNG uniforms. I think they both look look good in them. I apologize for my cough. Yeah, nice touching scene. And as soon as he reaches for the paintbrush, he wakes up. I'm going to leave it there because Samuel's going to have a lot to say about this scene, so I'm just going to wait for him to get back. But yeah, it's a nice scene in my opinion. I do like the fact that they went with the TNG uniforms for this. That being said, each time we've seen Data, it's been in very bright sunlight. First was the sunlight streaming through 10 Forward's windows, which made his skin and eyes look a little off to me. And now it's outside in a bright open field. They are in the shade of the tree, of course, but that doesn't really make that much of a difference. So again, it's super bright. So Data always looks a little off as far as that goes. Lighting is very important for Data, and I think that, you know, that's why he looks a little off, is because the scenes he's in are daylight, essentially, both of them.
What, Mr. Spiner?
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
I just kind of said the dream sequence, and then he woke up, and I said, "Wait for you." This
is one of those scenes where I love it, but I'm really sad it was all given away before the film. Like this scene is basically just, okay, we saw it. I was really hoping there'd be more, and it's like, you got them in uniform. This is a massive fucking deal. Like you had to pay Brent a lot of money to do this. You had to pay Patrick an extra lot of money to do this. You know, the amount of money is amazing. So I hope there's another part of the scene that's in costume, because Patrick did tease, I thought I should do it in uniform. And if this is it, massive disappointment that all he did was walk forward. You don't even see him as a full front. I mean, no, it's nice, but it's a big disappointment if this is it, and we already saw it all. But it's still good. I mean, it is good, but we already saw it, so we already had the time to process it and enjoy it. I do actually really like, though, the wake up and see nobody. I think that's very, very effective. I thought that the Romulans came in and killed everyone, and he was waking up and they'd already come, because we know they attacked the vineyard because of the trailer. So I was convinced. So when this was the dream, I was like, oh, okay, it's the dream. That's what I thought, anyway.
Yeah. He wakes up, realizes the painting behind him, and takes a look at it. And this one that he chose to put on his mantle has no face on it. It was the one that Data was working on, essentially, that wasn't finished, I guess. A set of two, which we find out later. But I personally would have taken the other one to put on my mantle.
Wow. I'm pretty sure Data picked a nicer one to keep. I mean,
wow.
And
one she's looking out to sea, looking out to the storm. The other one she's looking back at the painter. So
I absolutely love this little reveal. I was taken aback by how quick this was going to be. It's like, oh wow, the answer was here. Shit, okay. Damn.
Yeah.
Easy.
But guess
next
what?
step.
Dodge is gone. The dog was sleeping in her bed, but she was gone.
And not just that, but none of the screens, none of the sensors, none of the recordings saw that she left. As if she has some sort of invisibility screen. I mean, cloaking device. I mean, still, who knows? And obviously, in most shows, it would be like, she must have run, and we're going to cut to her running in the vineyard. But there's beaming. She just walked the transporter array 2 miles away and then beamed somewhere else on the planet. I mean, it's Star Trek. They just beam anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we cut to San Francisco. I like the look of this. I think it's a beautiful looking bay. Great, love it. It's obviously just the same scene as Discovery. I just think they did it nicer. I like seeing the buildings more, because it's just the same composite as Discovery, the same assembly. Great, beautiful, holds up, nice.
It's fantastic. Then we see the Archive Museum.
Yep. And I like that there's just uniform people walking around. They didn't have to do that. They didn't need to. But boy, it makes a difference. You know? It makes a big difference mentally. And it was a good choice.
And Eugene puts in 200 rubles.
Thank you.
As if she never existed in the first place. Just like these two Romulans. Damn, now you got me thinking about that. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Don't give stuff away.
Yeah.
But then we go into the Jedi archives.
Which, if you recall, it was just a blank building until they added the CG. Remember I showed you that?
Yeah.
The first trailer. Yeah, it's very Jedi archives. And they call it quantum archives. So I guess
quantum makes everything better.
I guess yeah. So I guess everything's in stasis.
That's kind of the vibe you get, yeah.
It's a very it's beyond Star Wars. It's a very like no, it's just a Star Wars feeling because the way he talks to the hologram, and I like it's a hologram because it's such an android until it's not. It's a hologram.
Mm-hmm.
But
she tries to make a joke. She's like, "What should we start? Selling tickets to your personal stuff?
I like
Is that your attempt at humor? We're trying something new. Don't quit your day job."
Brilliant, beautiful.
Yeah.
But holograms haven't come very far, I guess, in 20 years. Don't know.
Well, it's still a synthetic, right? So it would be limited to just, which makes me wonder what's happening with the Doctor right now. It's one of the things I was thinking of during this scene too. Where's the Doctor at?
I mean, this is true. I mean, the ban on synthetics, they might have been a residual set of people that say, well, holograms. I mean, they're even, once Hardlight comes along, they can do whatever they want. I mean, they've got access to more memory, theoretically, than, yeah, I can imagine maybe all holograms have been dialed down in intelligence, in look, because they can't be as real as they were. It's interesting. I'll give them that. Can't hear you, Stuart.
No one special, number one special. It's in $5. Unfortunately, Patrick could have been in full uniform and not know how much would be used. Wow.
No, this scene was these scenes are carefully constructed. They don't throw away 9 lines in the cutting room floor. I think they would have filmed other sequences in the uniform. They just haven't got to them yet. That's my hope. So yeah, he walks into, I guess, a custom room that is his I guess his storage closet, basically. His archive room.
Right, 1 second. Jarzia puts in $2. I sleep much better with a quantum foam pillow. See, quantum is important.
And Jill47 says, I think it's a Doctor will appear in season 2. Yes. Robert Picardo he's been talked about it for a long time that was approached. Shouldn't have let that slip, but hey, we love him for it. Definitely, I mean, a logical choice because of the synthetic line. Now we know. wouldn't that be kind of fun? Season 1 is the android season. Season 2 is a hologram season. I mean, talk about continuing a strong theme.
So yeah, he walks into his personal archive. We see the constellation right away, which is not the same one in his office because that was yellow, unless they decided to paint it at some point. And we see a real batleth. We see a real Klingon knife. We see the Sovereign class.
Was it Mechleth? No, was it?
No, the Mechleth.
The Targ?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But the Sovereign's there. Some of his books.
Yeah.
Captain Picard, Day Banner.
Although note, we saw, because this stuff was built for the show and then was used because it was already made for the exhibition, which we've both seen twice. But the batleth was different in that exhibition. That was a custom this is the same batleth.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
So we'll find a picture of it. Because that I was like, ooh, it's a good batleth.
Where's his flute, says Timothy Moore. Well, that would probably be at his house. That has more meaning to him.
That's
something
true.
you would keep at your house.
Well, this is all Federation themed. His house is more personal themed, I'd assume.
Yeah.
And especially since we've been in this exhibition, we know what the awards are.
Yeah.
They're all. I mean, I'm sure this is like his final respite of his Federation identity.
Oh, look, his thing that one professor gave him is there as well, even though he threw it on the floor in Generations.
He went back for it. Wouldn't it be great though if there's a scene that they cut out, they should refilm for Generations? If they're actually walking away, he's like, "Oh, sorry, can we go back for a minute?" What? Okay, drop us out of warp. I forgot one thing. Really, Captain? I'm sorry. They just he's beams out. Oh, shit. Okay, back. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just a stupid scene. And this is nice. Although I do think they're kind of like, this feels almost like a reshoot. Like it could have been a blank room, and they decided let's just do canon. Let's just give them what they want. Even though because it's only in one small place, it's kind of like, here, moving on. It's like, I mean, why not have like the captain's yacht in his study? Just there, so as you film in his study, it's there. You know what I mean? If it's all in one place, that's it. He's not going to come back here, is he? So done, I guess. So a bit weird, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, he I love the materialization of the box and then him moving it over.
Can you explain this to me?
No.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Is he replicating it? Is he creating it? Is he transporting it? I mean, it's none of those effects. What is this trying to be?
Well, I think since it's in quantum storage to take up less space, it's basically like one of those. What do you want to call them? The certain games you have the bag where you can like put stuff in it and it like
storage chest.
It's well, yeah, but it's there, but it's not.
Okay.
So you need it. I don't know. It's stored quantumly. It's important.
So it's beaming it out, basically.
Yes, beaming it out of this quantum realm to then rematerialize it.
So in a sense, it's in the pattern buffer.
Sure. Yeah.
Because I was looking at this, I was thinking, it's none of the effects though. Like it's something different. And you would think you'd want to, if you have one of one, you'd want to keep the one of one special. Otherwise, it's just a replicated thing. But then, why is everything else out? I don't know. It was just an interesting visual thing.
It was.
And then, sorry.
Fleetpaw Swiftback $4.99. Sorry, I'm late, gents. Life and all that was not let down by this episode. Also, a real Batleth and his old ships. Can't wait for more. Hashtag Picard like Spike. Thank you, Tyler.
Oh, Max Manex has a wonderful name for it. It's unmaterialized beam storage. Unmaterialized beam storage.
Nice. It's a pattern buffer, essentially.
Yeah. Scotty, hey, if Scotty is fine for 80 years, a painting is fine. And guys, still over 500 people watching. Brilliant. Only 344 likes. I mean, come on, guys. Click like.
Hit like. And I love how basically it's stored because it's a painting. It needs to be at a certain. It's got a certain amount of oxygen, argon, nitrogen, and helium, much like a museum.
That was cute.
So that's very cool. I love that.
But this is my most hated thing in this episode. This special effect is god awful. I hate this effect.
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
It looks like nothing. It's not the right angle. It's not the right lit. I don't understand it. It looks awkward. I hate it to pieces. I love the box. I hate the effect with a passion.
I liked it.
Okay.
Rick Gold puts in $5 Canadian.
Thank you.
Sorry if this is late, but did you notice at the end the hologram of the original Enterprise was clearly Disco Enterprise? Yeah, we'll get to that next week.
Yeah, that was in the ready room. Yes, we did notice that. Being the ship guys, we noticed it, and our hearts went. Oh, Ape has a great. Well, actually, Xeraxis and Ape both say very different comments. Ape says it looks fake because it's quantum.
Yes,
which is great. But Xeraxis says it's silly and impractical. Yeah, it should just be a box. It was like the bag that Pike was in that D did us. It's like that's garbage. That's just pathetic, you know. But what is not pathetic though was this other reveal, which normally would be in episode 2 or 3. You normally build up to this, but no, instantly, she's in the painting, Stuart.
She is.
And not just that, but we learn the title very quickly without any sort of effort. And
before we learn the title, though, we see something in the background: Enterprise D hanging on the wall.
Yeah, we do.
But yes, we do. And the first time I watched this, I swear to God, she said the name of the painting was Dodger. I'm like, Dodger? That's odd. Dodger? I get it. They're fine. And then literally a minute later, Picard says daughter. So when I watched it back, yeah, but the way she said it, she didn't enunciate it well. It sounded like Dodger to me. Sorry. Jeff Jacobs, $2, 350 again at 400 box is just an awesome humidor. Absolutely, it is.
What's that?
A humidor is something like you keep cigars in so they don't
Oh,
dry
right,
out.
right.
It basically just keeps the constant.
Absolutely too. Absolutely.
Yeah. 527 of you here, guys. That's awesome.
Brilliant.
Everybody hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe and super chat. Let's have a conversation.
This is another small pet peeve because it's another visual sign of them wanting to do something different. Picard asks, "What's the name?" And her eyes flash, even though every hologram ever just knows it. Even like that is such a stupid thing. It's like the audience is dumb; they won't understand that she's really trying to relay information. It's like that's such a step back, and it's such a retcon of like holograms 20 years ago didn't have to do that, and they were very early holograms, like people. So I just again,
this is a specific service indexed hologram, and you see the quantum hallway of quantumness. All of that shit was shit that she has to keep track of. So it might take her a second to. I have no problem.
Why on the eyes? Just have a stop for a second. It's just such a. We have to make it different. Now the eyes move. Can you imagine if the date so does that mean when he redo Voyager VFX, every time they asked the Doctor a thing, he's like, it's like no, it's just.
That's because he had a much smaller database to access information
Well, she's
from.
only accessing a small percentage.
They've already illegalized or made synth illegal, so she's a tool essentially. So they're making her not as human.
But just wouldn't need the eyes like that. But I guess they're doing that so that the people looking at her know she's doing that. I don't know. It just feels like a waste of money. Because they had no money to do a new shuttle, but they had money to make her eyes go twitchy. See? Money spent in weird places. But yes, daughter! Dum dum dum! Normally, Stuart's at the end of part 1, but no, it's 23 minutes in. Wow. But somehow, despite this entire episode, no one mentions Lal, his actual created daughter. Right. Why does no one mention Lal? Picard knows everything about Lal. I don't understand that. There's no mention. It feels very, very weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Before we move on, though, we got a PayPal from Monty Daniels.
Thank you.
1262 Canadian. Picard episode 1 live. I wonder if 7 of 9 will mention the dock being boxed, like Cylons, or confined to a certain locale, like a hospital or ship's sickbay.
I mean, that you can imagine that would be another reason 7 hates the Federation. Actually, there you go. That's perfect. Because he's already proven he has rights, but they just don't let any more people like him have rights. And yeah, that would be I love that actually. That's great. Great idea. And that'd be where we bring him in season 2. But yeah, what do you think of this reveal? Because it really is like a full-on reveal again. And did you see it coming? I mean, were you guessing this at this point?
Didn't. No.
Yeah, me either. It's good though. It's cool.
I thought it was it did what it's supposed to do. It was a good reveal. It was not something I was expecting, so I think it worked well.
I didn't want to say in our earlier review today that I liked the twists, because that gives away there are twists. Now I can say I liked the twists. Because there are twists.
What a twist.
This. And I was right, not Borg Queen, Picard, daughter. I was right.
Yeah.
I said that was dumb.
Next scene is we got Paris, France. And again, we saw Paris, France in Discovery. The end of season 1.
Another Discovery shuttle now on the roads, because they definitely need to be at road level, don't they?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Moving on.
And
what a weird sequence. It's just filmed against a random wall in the soundstage. It's
with a like power converter there.
And graffiti. It's such a weird little scene. I mean, this also feels like maybe a reshoot, or like we ran out of money. Because this is like, again, there's so many scenes that don't feel like Star Trek. Like, you tell me this screenshot feels like Star Trek in any way. You know what I mean? That's why I kept being pulled out of the vibe, because there's just so little of those distinct vibes.
Yeah. Jarzia, $5. The Doctor also was never granted personhood like Data, only the status of an author. If Starfleet decided to shut him down, there's no legal defense. I kind of disagree with that.
I agree that was what was done, But I think that Janeway, especially being an admiral, would push very hard, and Seven, and I think they could make enough argument that he's alive, like him uniquely, because his experiences are so radical. But I think they, like the random doctor worker in the mines, you could probably argue isn't, but him, I think you could never not argue. If you can argue Data, come on, Stuart, he's bloody self-aware. I mean, watch for a Measure of Man, replace it with Data, with the Doctor, he's even more self-aware in a sense, because he can adapt better. He's more human, he's more emotional. He fell in bloody love. Like 3 times. But yeah, we get the hollow phone call, very Discovery-y, and yet somehow not Discovery-y. I appreciate the more appropriate feeling, but it's still a bit weird to see like just communicator, like, what I mean. It still feels weird in Star Trek. It feels very not Star Trek.
Yeah. But yeah, she basically says, I'm in danger. I left where I was safe to come. I didn't want them getting hurt. And the mom is like, well, you need to go back to Picard. And she's like, I didn't tell you about Picard. And then the mom's thing goes and says, yes, you did.
Yeah.
People are wondering whether she's real or not, or whether she's a hologram or whatever. I would assume. If Daj and Soji, or whatever her name is, are artificial, they might not actually have real parents. It's just implanted memories.
100%.
So, yeah. This could be all in. This is trippy. The more I think about it.
Quick comment from Eugene, because I love it. And this is a reference to my comment. Janeway would keep the Doctor. He would play the case. Do you want Janeway to nuke Starfleet Command? Because that's how you make Janeway nuke Starfleet Command. I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
And yeah, certainly the hologram thing. It's very obvious that it's not right. But she's a fake person, so it's interesting. This episode is not subtle. The things it shows are quite obvious. My vibe is that she was like a hired actor sort of thing. That really Daj only been alive for like 5 years or 10 years max, and she was just somebody. Maybe she's Section 3, or maybe she's part of a program. She's synthetic, but or she could be a hologram, and
Well, as Jill says, maybe she's Maddox's wife.
Okay. Okay, no, that's interesting. I could buy that, because then she would still be literally the mum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no, I like that. Maybe, yeah. But it is a weird conversation. The fact that she says go to Picard.
Picard will keep you safe, yeah.
But it does feel like a hollow recording. It doesn't help she's actually literally a hologram.
Right.
But yeah, it's weird. But she's not a real person, so it's like...
Yeah, and as soon as the conversation changes, there's like a glitch in it almost, a signal thing. So Daniel Windbrace puts in $5.
Thank you.
I do like the fact that the Romulans seem to be preparing for war. Revenge is now their way.
Where did you get that from, Daniel?
I don't know.
Daniel, hey, let us know why. Please explain that. I don't know why. Explain.
But she tells her to track Picard, and all of a sudden she knows how to do it.
Jason Bourne style.
Yep.
It's a bit easy, but But
we gotta progress the plot onto this Discovery shuttle flyby. Because
really, this should be like 3 episodes worth. It's weird how quick this is going. It's almost Rise of Skywalker-esque, where don't think about it, next scene. Maybe they're doing that approach, because it is like there's a lot of content. This could easily have been 2 episodes, obviously with good scenes. But also
then we might say that the pacing suffered. It was dragged out and didn't need to be.
But the pacing suffers from the opposite.
I didn't think so.
I think in retrospect it kind of... Well, it's interesting because the fact that, spoilers, Daj dies at the end, or near the end, I think that's also why it's so quick to burn through her story, because her story is only this episode. So really it doesn't matter about her. It matters about her existence, but not her herself. So we don't need to get to know her very much, because it doesn't matter. Not really.
Yeah. But she runs into Picard at the archives, and he's like, "How did you find me here? I was so worried about you." Um, then he goes on to tell her about Data and how he was a painter. Well, first an android, and she's like, like the ones that attacked Mars. It's like, no. The word android conjures up a lot of weird shit for people.
What was android?
And he said android.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
The word android conjures up a lot of weird stuff for people. Just put that out of your mind. So yeah, and then he explains that he was a painter and he painted an exact picture of her like 30 years ago, and he's getting to the point where it's like he's telling her that she's basically a synthetic's daughter. So you're telling me that I'm just a killing machine? And he's like, no, that's not it.
Yeah.
If what's happened, if you are who I think you are, you're basically very important to me. You're very special to me. He always wanted a daughter. So it's interesting conversation.
Although Mr. Trent 100 has a really great point. How can a robotic expert graduating and going to the Data Institute not know about data? That's a really good plot point. That's a big plot hole, isn't it? Wow. Huh.
Unless she's programmed not to remember data, and her getting accepted was all part of a plan.
Yeah, I get the impression that Daj has only been like on the planet for like 6 months. Like this is something very specific that really she wasn't.
But no, I was born in Seattle. A few times.
But I love that. So that's a legitimate plot hole unless it's addressed. I like this scene a lot. It's very gentle, but this is one of those scenes where again it's all close ups. There's very little Trek in it. It's just people wearing clothes. Like it's another scene of that sort of vibe. That even though I talk about Trek, it doesn't quite have that vibe for me.
Daniel Winbrice puts in $5.
Thank you.
Why else build a fleet of what appears to be Borg augmented ships unless they want revenge for Star Trek abandoning them, as Picard says? They're not necessarily Borg augmented ships.
I mean, I guess it's a safe assumption because they've got a Borg ship there, I guess.
Yeah,
They don't look that Borg adapted, and I mean they've got. It's been 30 years. I mean, I didn't get a sense of building ships there. It was a separate thing. I sort of got where you're coming from, but I mean, I don't think we've got there yet. There's not that much information to that.
Oh, I love how she also mentioned she can hear conversations blocks away.
Yeah. Could Data do that? I don't think he could do that.
I don't know. Jason Bourne can though. So.
I mean, she has a very Jason Bourne feel. It's kind of like very almost 1-to-1. How she's like, oh, they're on their way, and you get this kind of awkward scene of Patrick Stewart, the 70-year-old, trying to be actiony, which instantly cuts to a body double of a man that's got a different shaped head, and then he cut to him like, I'm on the stairs, because he actually had to walk up the stairs, and Patrick has a hard time walking because he has like all day dizziness. He has a condition that gives him dizzy all day. Like it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to walk. I was actually there when he got diagnosed, which is a weird thing. But he was telling us he just got diagnosed like that week. He was not taking it well. But I mean, he's a strong man. But this is the scene where you see. I just watched Nemesis. Like he's doing action things. It was only 20 years ago, and now he's this old, frail man. You get it in this scene in particular. That it's like but I mean, it's fine.
It's like, slow down, I'm like old.
Even though in reality I'm middle-aged for Trek and my bones would be fine because they can heal them. That's one of those things where reality versus the reality of the Trek universe kind of breaks her. And then you get this very, very, very quick... These guys are beaming in like, zoom, done, zoom, done. I mean, it's a very visceral, like, transporters will never work like this. So the tactical transporters, they're whatever, it's right there at the top of the important Starfleet event. This is a very abrupt firefight that happens in a very important place. And why is security not alerted? Because theoretically, if everyone can beam everywhere, you'd know phaser fires happening on the roof of one of your buildings. Why aren't Federation forces beaming in? Because there were people underneath, like there were people down below that were in uniform.
There's no one there.
Yeah, that's probably a plot hole as well, isn't it? Because there should be people around them hearing phaser fire. They wouldn't know where it was, but they'd put tricorders and like there should be a response here. It's quite a long fight.
Yeah, so maybe it's all part of Figment and Picard's mind.
Yeah, I think they're dampening stuff in this area. I think like there's a I think this is all set up. I think this is all stuff. One thing I didn't like. Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna say it looks like an Orville shuttle on the one scene.
No, they're all Discovery shuttles, just at different levels of distance.
One has like something hanging at the back of it, though. It doesn't look like a normal Discovery shuttle shape.
I don't know where that's going to be frame-wise.
Go forward.
Sorry, I scrolled a lot. Could you tell me where we're at in the fight? Start, middle, end.
Middle, for sure. Eventually, there's the next shuttle you see. That's the one. Kind of get a shot of it from the side. There's a light pole on the right side of the screen.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it does look a bit weird.
It's a weird shape, for sure.
Yeah, it is. But if they'd probably just built a few random just shapes, honestly. I mean, they're so... I mean, that could literally be 6 boxes on, you know. One thing that makes me a bit sad about this scene that stands out to me is that... Or I like the scene in general, but the way that she takes Picard to this shape, to this thing, and he moves down like he's an invalid. It's like, this guy was a captain, an admiral, a military veteran, and he's like... It's like, yes, he might be older now, but military vets don't do this. Like, they treat him so like a old man here when he's a extremely decorated 60-year veteran. He would be thinking, right, he would get upset, right, what's happening here? This, and he's not gone. He's fine because this is the future. So the way they play him here is like, quick, get behind there, old man. And that's not how the scene would play. Like, not at all. He'd be active in the situation. I don't know if you agree or not.
Didn't think about it, but I guess, yeah. Muscle memory, training, yeah.
He doesn't even try and do anything to help. When you say what can he do, but
well, he's got no weapon. He's and it's behind a bench.
But I mean, how many times have you seen him in episodes trying to save the day and he doesn't, like, there's no effort there, you know?
Yeah. Howrats 96 puts in $2. Do the Romulans spit xenomorph blood now? I'm getting so sick and tired of hearing that. No, probably not. It's probably like a suicide type pill, as we said, because as soon as he spits it, he also dies. So it's like a cyanide pill that the Nazis used to bite on so they didn't get captured. Yeah. Plus, it kills her in the process. So yeah.
Yeah, that was my analogy exactly. That it's not blood. It's his. I can't be captured. Although since they're beaming people out instantly, it's weird. You'd assume they would just beam him out, but whatever. She had to die, so you had to kill her somehow.
Yeah, and yeah. Anyway, Eugene, 250 rubles. What's just happened? What happened next? Don't ask questions. Next scene.
Yeah. Somewhat. But we're hoping they'll explain things, you know?
Well, yeah. Oh, there's the jump that everybody freaks out about. It is weird for sure, but I have no issues with it really. Like I said, she's augmented, so.
Yeah, if it just all she had to be was at the stair bottom. It just looks silly, is all.
Yeah.
And they're obviously missing. Like I said, these shots don't even remotely hit. Like, they're also aiming for what, her legs. It's a poorly choreographed fight generally. It's just we have an action scene. That's all it is really. You know, there isn't much else to them. But yeah, she beats them all up. They're very ineffectively trained. The dude's glass shield gets smashed, as I said in an earlier review. I'm not sure why it was made of next generation floor material when it should have been made of Captain Pike blast door shielding, because that thing could survive a torpedo explosion, not being smashed against a railing. That felt weird to me, because the dude's helmet already falls off the next scene. You don't need, like, it's not a very well thought out scene. Although I do give him massive credit for the digital. Everything around, this shot is beautiful of the digital future. Gorgeous. Good job. When we saw it, it was literally just a car park roof and then stuff around. It's just a car park roof.
Houses, just regular houses.
Yeah.
California houses.
Yeah. So this is beautiful. This is a really well done visual effect. You really can't tell. So I give him credit. But why such a boring roof? Like, as a location, it's a god awful place to do a scene. It's so not Trek, so boring. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the worst set possible. It's so strange. I like the stairs, but not the set.
Caleb Horn, $2. The jump shows the Type 6 on the right.
What, you mean the Discovery Shuttle? Again. I mean, dude, that's a Discovery Shuttle, so it looks exactly the same. Again, it's one of the many Discovery Shuttles. Da-da-da! Discovery Shuttle again.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a Discovery Shuttle.
Literally, they put them in even though they're not even on focus. They just want to say fuck you. Literally, that's all they're there for, is to say screw you. It's crazy. They're in every single location of this film, of this show. Every single location. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so she wins. A dude gets beamed as he's falling, which is cool.
And then another guy beams him back on the stairs. I wonder if it was the same guy.
Yeah. And obviously this is a question where why isn't she beamed out? If they can beam in bloody quickly, they didn't even try and beam her out. And we jump to the logic that she's got an anti-beam chip. Like, she's got transport inhibitors built in. That is a leap.
Yeah.
Because just beam her out. It's such a silly thing to beam her own troops in like this. Whatever.
Shuttles are there to give a Trek feel, says Benjamin0119. That's true, but then
I mean,
make shuttles that are TNG appropriate.
And also, if they're like 1/96th% of the screen, like I have to zoom this far in. I mean, you don't notice them, and also this shuttle would notice the people shooting.
Yes.
So if it was part of the scene, if it like turned and was like, "This is Starfleet, stop shooting this," like
this is like Fight Club. Once you go back and realize that none of these people actually exist, it's just Picard.
No, yep. Well, we'll get there in a brief second. So there's a whole load of things that don't quite work in the sequence.
Mr. Jersey, a super chat, $5. I noticed what looked like Argo shuttles on this season on trailer. They seem to be flying backwards, but I think the scene was playing backwards.
Yep.
Okay, just 1 second. I gotta take a phone call.
Sure. And James Roberts says a wonderful thing could be a personal transporter built into the suit they can beam but not beam others. I love that, James. That is a really good idea. And that's very future-y. That I could buy, especially if it's short range, especially if like they have like a central beamings thing. Yeah, no, great, love it.
All right, cool. I'm back. So yeah, she basically explodes before she starts to before the explosion, which is really weird.
Yeah.
And then the explosion hits, and she gets encompassed essentially, and he flies back.
Yes.
And yeah, he would have cracked his skull open.
Oh yeah, he's dead. I mean, that is a really visceral blast. But look at her. I mean, look at her destruction. Like, you literally see her skin burn off and the skeleton underneath.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see this without the explosion part, because that is graphic as all shit. It's really well done. And boy, I mean, did you see her being acided and then blown up, disintegrated to death? Did you see that coming, Stuart? Did you guess that was going to come?
No, I did not.
Another one of those great twists. It was like, oh, but I saw her in bed with a Romulan in the trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Although, to be fair, although this is a little bit different. No, well, is it even? We did see, not that that's going to happen, but we did see the Section 31 thing where they disintegrated a dude in Romulus, and it looked as if it had died, but in fact it got beamed away at the last second. So maybe she got beamed away at the last second as her skin was being...
Yeah, that's what I said too, that
did
she got beamed out. Yeah.
I mean, that'd be
last night.
That'd be a weird twist, but yeah, and that explosion is so weird. And it's like, why aren't there people beaming in? Well, okay, well now we're there. So you got these flashes, and then it cuts to the most weird cut ever. He's in his house.
Mm-hmm.
What? This was. I really lost me in this moment. I was like, what?
Yeah, because Starfleet security would have had to bring him back and ask questions. I don't know. It seems odd.
I
Maybe it was
mean,
just a dream.
well, that's the thing. What would happen is he'd wake up in a hospital. That's
Yeah.
what, like, he's not gonna, after that explosion, he wouldn't wake up in it. Because what had to happen, someone found him while he was still unconscious, they took him to a transporter pad, beamed him to his house, not to a medical facility, even though he was clearly massively injured, and then they put him on the sofa, waited for him to wake up naturally. Like, this entire scene feels absolutely wrong. I'm sure this is a hint to either the whole thing being a delusion or, like, this scene is a really awful edit. It's so bizarre. I guess they didn't want to spurge for another set or hospital, but I don't buy this for a single second. This is a hint of something greater.
Yeah.
And why could it be? What was the dialogue that expresses that it might all be some greater thing? Oh.
I don't know. I don't have notes.
Oh, the
He
thing
says
is,
something about he.
yeah, the people don't see the people.
Yeah. There was nobody there. They didn't. He says Dodge is dead. They're like, oh, it's surprising because there's nothing showing. Maybe she has a cloaking device. Yeah. So.
Yeah, they were like, we didn't see anybody on the roof, and but the explosion hurt you. But it's like you would see the you'd sense the energy readings, you'd sense the Beeman readings. I mean, all these things you would detect, and they didn't see anything, and the shells didn't see anything, and it does play as if it's all a hallucination or it's a dream. It's very strange.
Got a lot of super chats to catch up on.
Oh, brilliant!
And
Sorry.
Cam puts in $5. The effect looked a lot like Romulan senators dying to Thalaron radiation at the beginning of Nemesis.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Eugene, 100 rubles. My previous super chat was about this. It's about what?
It being a dream. I think we just hadn't got there yet, Eugene. But now we're on it, so thank you.
Okay. Hellrats 96, $2. You think we'll see some Voyager future tech? Probably not. Jersey at $5. Let's settle this. The acid was a capsule he bit down on. It was green because it instantly started dissolving in his mouth and his blood was mixed in. Yep. Somebody said, how could they store a liter of acid? Well, it's...
I mean, you know how when you bite down, all the foam comes in? How do you store so much foam in your mouth? It's a chemical reaction. Because you know how in Force Awakens, she takes that little thing and it goes in water and it... Vroomf? That was real. So things can thing into things. And it's also the future as well.
You heard it here on Trekyards, folks. Things can thing into things.
Sorry, Stuart. I know I'm being technical. Bear with me.
Prime1351 puts in 199. He died. The rest of the season is Tapestry 2.
Tapestry 2. The Reckoning.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many clues to this sort of stuff. Yeah, it's really interesting.
TXR Way puts in £10.
Oh, thank you.
Thought that Picard was much better than Discovery, and there was a lot I liked. However, the bit about setting fire to the atmosphere of Mars was stupid. The atmosphere is too thin and it lacks oxygen. It does now, but in the future, they probably terraformed a lot of it, and maybe there was stuff in the atmosphere from the construction of ships. So you can't compare it to what Mars is now.
I mean, do you really think that close to Earth, they would leave it that everyone has to wear a spacesuit outside of their biggest spaceship facility? Why would they leave it a natural, uninhabitable area? No, they would make Mars fully oxygen-based. They would just pump oxygen. They would do a chemical... They wouldn't... I guess they'd want to keep it red for natural history's sake. So they would make it like artificial oxygen without trees, and then that would burn. Why would they keep it non-oxygen? It's like the moon. Why would they keep it? I mean, that's probably hard to keep oxygen because it was so close to Earth, it might affect Earth. But I mean, Mars, yeah. I mean,
you can't put an atmosphere on the moon, but that's why they have the dome cities, right?
Yeah, I mean, and also like you said, I love the idea of like the chemical fumes from building stuff. Yeah, it's flammable. I mean, I don't. It's a weird thing to say. They're still burning, but yeah, they have oxygen. Yeah, I have no problem with that.
I love the way this scene ends, though, where he says, "I've been sitting here nursing my wounded dignity, just waiting to die." Awesome.
And I just noticed this. If you look at the way the Romulans are lit, look how ethereal. They're being backlit by a beautiful light, as if that's such a hint as well. I mean, come on.
Well, Data was bathed in the same light on the Enterprise E's, or the Enterprise D.
Yeah, dude, it was. Yeah. See, I love analyzing scene by scene, and yeah, his line there is beautiful. And that's why, for me, this episode doesn't connect as well, because Patrick Stewart is acting a non-Picard Picard, and that's the point. You know,
Yep.
he now knows this was not me being me. This was me waiting to die, which just to get the Picard character to be like that. Even in All Good Things, when he knows he's going insane, he's not waiting to die. He's achieving things, he's doing things. So it's a weird characterization for sure. But hopefully from now on, it's going to be a go-getter. I think his acting's going to get a lot better from now on. I think this is just the start of the road. But you got to start low to see the high, the contrast, you know?
Mm.
Oh, there we go. Dramatic pause, nope. They have Patrick's sweater. Is it streaming? Oh, that's streaming.
Ian Flavin, there we go, puts in 20 euros.
Oh my god, thank you.
Here's 20 euros. Any chance you might not take phone calls on a live stream? I'll do what I want, thanks. I'm at home, and it was an important call. And would the child in the blue shirt stop being such an absolute tool? Stop nitpicking and just enjoy the show, for fuck's sakes. Refund if you don't read out.
That went dark, didn't it?
Wow. Don't watch if you're that much, if you don't enjoy it. Like, seriously.
And we're not nitpicking, we're analysing it. Like any film critic would, movie critic would. I mean, every bit of media can be looked at in its own merits, and if you don't want a thing to be reviewed, then watch it. Don't look at reviews, don't look at people. You know. Okay, you enjoy it, great for you. I guess you didn't look at it that deep. That's fine.
Bye.
Thanks for $20, the euros. That really helps. Appreciate it. We'll keep reviewing.
Bye, Felicio.
And then we get Then we get Daystream Institute, Okinawa. Where's Okinawa? Is it the US? Is it not the US? I could just Google it. Do you know?
No, it's Japan. The island of Okinawa.
Well, I don't know. I didn't know it was out of the US. We never said where Daystream was. I assumed it was the US. Cool.
You don't know your history very well, do you? That's okay.
Well,
World War II.
It's the future, dude. It's the future. It could be anything. I don't know.
Mm.
It could be Okinawa, Florida, the Special Institute. I don't know. I guarantee the space station that's in the bloody corner is going to mean something. Because why is there a space station there in low orbit? I don't know.
It could be in high orbit, and it's just so big that's how it looks.
That's really big then.
I know, right?
And yes, there are many Discovery shuttles flying around. There's 5 shuttles in the scene, all Discovery shuttles. But I like the buildings. Buildings are nice. It's very low key, you know. Yeah. And I like that it's just a rock face they found and just diddly added stuff onto. It's just find a rock face. But it's good. It's good. It's a nice sort of gentle visual effect.
Yeah. Anyway, he meets up with I don't know her name because my notes are gone.
I liked her though.
Yes, and he's right to the point. He's like, "Is it possible to make a synthetic that's made of flesh and blood?" And she's like, "No, you're serious." But she said it's a pleasure to meet you because she knows who he is, and yeah.
I laughed out loud at this scene of her laughing at him. I thought that was so lovely. Because that tells you so much information. You know, it's so ridiculous. It's a joke, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, you're serious? Well."
Oh, you're serious.
The short answer is no. Well, tell me the long answer. That would also be no.
It's great.
It was within our. It was on our, in our sights, but 1,000 years away, kind of thing. And that was before the ban on synths, so there's no way that. That's a quick summation.
I love that.
She shows him.
She does. She has a fun. She's trying quite hard as a character to be interesting, but I like her lines a lot. She's well written. Yeah. Yeah.
And then we see the cybernetic division or whatever, and it's basically a ghost town. So they can theorize. They can do theoretical things like that, but they cannot actually build anything practically. So, yeah. And then we get the B4 in a drawer.
And I was not expecting to get this right. I mean, like I said to you earlier, this is just the trailer episode. Like, it's all here. Pretty much. I mean, like, most of the scenes. And we get the full... There we go. Lore is now... not lore, sorry. B4, the story has been told. And what is the story? Because they neatly tie up with a bow. And it's not Countdown.
Oh, yeah. His... even though Data uploaded or downloaded all of his memories into B4, almost all of them were lost because they were just not anywhere near the same level, or B4 wasn't near the same level of complexity as Data. So they don't necessarily go into why he was disassembled. Probably, I wonder if it was before the synth ban or whatever. But yeah. So the hopes that Data is going to reconstitute himself in B4 are shattered after Nemesis. Because you thought, he started whistling the song, so maybe it was taking hold.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope. And I was quite surprised by that.
No Captain of the Enterprise.
Instead, he's in a drawer. Yeah. Yes. Not quite as glamorous. No. But at least they addressed it. Although, if you look at this room, it's a very big room just to have it in a drawer. It feels very like it should be in the archive, not in a little drawer in the middle of a room. It feels kind of odd, especially this top shot. Although I'm even wondering, like, there's a ban on cybernetics or any synthetics, and yet there's still a facility, there's still part of the institute that's devoted, and there's still active scientists. You would think they just move everyone off. If they want to make it like there's a ban. It's like you ban nuclear weapons. You don't say, but we'll keep 5 guys working on nukes anyway.
Theoretical physics and stuff. I mean, theoretically, you can come up with things, but yeah, to have a room this big for that, it would be a much smaller room.
Yeah, well, it would have been like, I know it's for the effect, but it'd be moved to something else. Like, she'd be given a broom closet, or why wasn't she asked for a... Because, I mean, he's been retired for like 10 years. Why isn't... I guess she loves cybernetics, but... I mean, do something else with your time? I don't know. Feels, yeah.
Eugene puts in 200 rubles. I thought Daystrom was on Mars. Is this Daystrom 2.0 or just another department? I never thought that Daystrom was on Mars, but with Mars, what happened to Mars? I'm sure they just located it.
This is true.
SWTX Chaser, $2. Was this the school from Children of Mars?
Nope.
I wouldn't put it past them, but
no.
Michael Stepniak puts in $10.
Oh wow!
Hey guys, drive me nuts sometimes. I really do like disco, but even when we disagree, I still find your breakdowns valuable and insightful. Thank you for what you do. Well, thank you very much, Michael. We appreciate that.
And that was an incredibly balanced and positive thing. So we appreciate your tone because we try and create that tone. And as long as you can understand why we think what we think, and if you disagree, at least we've explained it correctly. And we can understand each other. That's the important thing.
Jeff Jacobs, $2, 400 likes. I'm so proud we can do 450. Come on, guys. 502 of you here. Let's get another 50 likes out of you guys. That would be fantastic. Absolutely. Does the drawer have 2 sides? No, it clearly doesn't.
Sad. And then you get into the complicated thing about basically quantum cloning. They did some words. Oh, that was because of the necklace. He brought the necklace. It's even more simple, even up close. And it's the symbol for cloning, basically, but a special Maddox... Well, I mentioned Maddox. You can mention him again in a second. He designed maybe this theoretical, amazing, genius cloning technique to clone positrons of a bio-brain, a mechanoid bio-brain, to regain all the information in them.
And then to mention the girl, and she's like, oh, yeah, they... whatever. And she says they, and he's like, they? Oh, they're made in pairs. And it's twin. And Picard's like, there's another one. I do love the subtle little humor here, though, with him, where it's like, well, before they walked in the room, so it's more odd that I had tea with one. And then here he's like, yeah, this is a necklace from my tea drinking companion that you said couldn't exist.
Yep.
Little subtle things of humor that are perfect in this.
Well, I think the difference, though, from a few scenes ago, he's found a new purpose. He's now got a direction, and you can feel it. You really can.
Yeah.
But mention Maddox. I mean, they mentioned him. I sorry, I glazed over that. I mentioned, also, we talked to him several times today. What was Maddox, and what do they say about him? Because that is a guy from canon, and we've already looked at the episode.
Yep. For Measure of a Man, and also mentioned in Data's Day. But yeah, he basically disappeared after the ban, and no one knows where he is. So there's a very good chance we're going to see him in this series, or at least what became of his research or his work. So looking forward to that. But yeah, they talk about the neuronic cloning or whatever the hell it was called. Like I said, I don't have my notes.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And I expressed in my in the earlier review that I absolutely love the idea that Sung faked his death and/or went AWOL, was wanted because he wanted to do robotics, and he went off. And then Maddox, I think he's probably kidnapped by Romulans, but that's later. And it's in this episode implied that he took the same path and just said, I want to develop. Maybe I have to be a hermit. Maybe that's the key to designing robots, is to not live with anybody and be alone for 35 years. So I kind of love the idea of seeing Maddox, and he's got looks wrinkled and it's like Sung all over again. So I like that parallel, that symmetry. And if he did build multiple new androids, it's like a cyclical service. So Stuart, this took me for a loop. Again, another reveal, and it feels like a third episode reveal. Like, this should be multiple episodes of content, but it's all in one. Why do you have to build androids in pairs?
No idea.
And she says it so well, obviously. It's like,
I'm sure we'll get an explanation at some point. But it's not.
It's not what?
It's not build them in pairs. Sure we'll get an explanation at some point. It's not build them in pairs. It's clone the new procedure in pairs. So everybody's been saying, oh, well, Data had lore. Who was B4's twin? No. Those are built androids, not the clone procedure.
Well, they're invented first.
Yeah.
That's the guy who invented them, and Data was his third version. This is trying to retroactively invent them based on the old tech. And I heard a few of the negative reviewers say that how could you clone Data from a single cell, because they're robot cells, they have no information, they're just bio. But no, they specifically call out it's parts of the positronic brain. So it's positrons in the brain. So it's a brain memory cell in a sense. I don't buy for a second you could rebuild all of his memories from it. Not for a single. That's ludicrous, because if you can do that, then it's so stupid as a concept. You can't clone everyone's memory based on a hair follicle. It's sci-fi trope, but we're smart on this in Star Trek. You know what I mean? But
you even said yourself it's from the positronic brain. So from a brain molecule, you might be able to get somebody's memories as well. Anyway,
but it's
not a hair follicle. It's not the same thing.
Well, yeah, but it's like the Blade Runner thing, where you can take a picture and zoom in, enhance into reflection. It's like that data's not there. You can't enhance that data if it doesn't exist. You can't regain the memories of the colonists from a single thing. It's ludicrous. But the distinction that Picard calls out is his essence. Now that I can buy, that like a reflection of Data, exists. Not as maybe a bit of his surface level stuff, so that might be able to get a Data personality imprint, but not all his memories. That is laughable to me personally. It's just as silly as Tom and Janeway turning to eels. Like, that's just as ridiculous. Personally.
I'm going to disagree with you.
That's fine.
Eugene, 1,000 rubles. Single positron is actually an awesome concept for sci-fi. In physics, there's a thing called CPD symmetry. From it, you can derive only one. There's only one electron and positron per entire universe. Doubt writers knew that, though. Wiki, one electron universe, and you'll be able to read about it for yourself. So thank you, Eugene. You are always a wealth of knowledge. So, the great Chugi puts in $5. What about Dr. Bashir putting a positronic brain in Vidic Burrell over 25 years ago? He didn't put in a positronic brain. He basically just kept stimulating the brain that was there with enhancements. Jarzy got $2. B4's brother is B9. He's harmless. Huh, B9.
We have quality jokes here.
That's a Trekyards worthy joke for sure.
Droke.
Prime1351 puts in $1.99.
Hey.
Flox said in Enterprise that we may have genetic memory. Well, we absolutely do have genetic memory. That even goes into how birds know to migrate. You know, and they even explore that in the Assassin's Creed games.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just don't think you can have 100 trillion terabytes in one cell. Otherwise, that means your brain can hold a F-ton million. I mean, it just. I
don't know. It's not. You're looking at it too literally. It's not storing that much information in one. If you have that cell, you can regrow the brain, and then the pathways to form those memories will be drawn out of that DNA, essentially, or that structure.
No.
Okay.
I don't see that. That doesn't. I get what you mean there, but it still recreates the data. It's still.
Pardon the pun. Sam Ray puts in $5. It's Cecilia's being reincarnated by a tear in mycelial spores.
I mean, that's an extra dimensional realm that does whatever it wants. But yeah. So what's the next scene? Oh yeah, basically almost at the end, Stuart.
Fleet Pot Swiftback $1.99. Soon was always whimsical with names. Data's mom. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get the necklace into a double ring, something. Which I wonder if that's going to be important.
I don't think it'll be important. I think it was just a cool transition.
And we get the first new Romulan ship. And there will be an episode on it, guys. And I think we both like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And boy, is it clearly John Eves designed.
Yes.
I mean, just the impulse engines are a giveaway.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. And there'll be an episode tomorrow on it. Yeah, tomorrow. So tune in for that.
And then they get the Romulan Reclamation Site. That's what it's called.
I don't know what that means.
Well, it's Reclamation Site. They're reclaiming things. Yeah.
It's exactly. That's what I mean. What does that mean?
We'll find out.
But
then we get introduced to, I forget his name, whatever. Anyway.
Romulan man.
He's clearly ominous and evil because the music hints at it. It's walking through this mist with the red skin.
Evil. I'm evil. Well, he's a Romulan on a Borg vessel. You can't get more ominous than that. I mean, it's like, is he a bad guy? Yes. I mean, the last Romulan we saw on a Borg vessel was Nero, and he killed basically an entire universe. By not, telling people about the Hobos thing properly. Anyway. Now, tell me, Stuart, is he meant to have a British accent? This guy.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Because obviously he's just talking to me. Like, obviously I'm not going to hear his accent. But he has a weird voice. Because we put in context to Americans. Yes. So I think he's trying to be British. So he's a British Romulan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like his character, though, so far, he does seem like a nice guy. And Soji is very enthralled with him by the looks of it.
Who is that?
Soji. That's Daj's twin.
Who he happens to bump into straight away.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And he asks instantly about the necklace, same necklace, and she's like, "Oh, Mum gave it to me." Again, non-special necklace, and he's like, "Well, yeah, we lost my brother last year. It really sucks."
Unexpectedly, yeah.
Yeah.
Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $1.99. British accent equals bad guy. LOL.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to say, you spend your whole day fixing broken people. I'm sure that's the last thing you want to do on your time off. And she's like, well, think again. And that's going to refer to what she's doing on the Borg cube, which is basically helping bringing the Borg back, I guess, taking out their implants. Because Hugh comes back with no implants. And we see scenes of Borg.
Yeah.
We see scenes of Borg on tables getting operated on. So
yep.
They're reclaiming the people from the Borg. So reclamation site.
Oh yeah, no, I get it, but it's such a big cube that what you think they're just shoveling Borg drones in from all across the quadrant. I mean, what's the end game here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I love in the background here you see Romulan officers with the great sashes that so feel like Romulan officers, like the uniforms, and it's so subtle. Like even the small reflective texture of the uniforms, I can tell are meant to be Romulan. Like, great stuff. Although again, I didn't mention it earlier, but they have floating robot things in several places of the episode, and another one here, like we have in Discovery. So they're now a thing, floating little robots.
Well, like little mouse droids in Star Wars, they're everywhere.
Yes.
Chris B puts in $5. Just joined the chat, so I'm not sure if I already asked. Bottom line, is the show worth a wary Star Trek fan joining CBS All Access? Thanks, guys. I would personally say yes, because it felt like coming home.
10 a month, isn't it?
I don't know how much it is.
I mean, if you want to enjoy the week by week, then yes, pay for it and you have to spend 10 weeks worth of money. Or if you can avoid spoilers, wait until the end, just binge it in a weekend, and have a really great weekend, because it'll be good. I think it'll be a better binge show.
I think so too.
But I have more fun doing it like this. But I think it'll be a better binge show. I mean, sure, I would say if you don't want to be spoiled, give them money. Really. Then at least you can enjoy it.
It's $5.99 a month and $9.99 without ads.
I mean, that's nothing. I mean, that's literally nothing. I mean, my Amazon's more expensive than that. Okay, it probably isn't, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah. But then we get a zoom out, and you see some Romulan work bees and some other ships.
I know. They're weird, aren't they?
They are weird, but they're not Discovery work bees.
That would have been a real piss poor thing.
Yeah. Eugene puts in another 100 rubles.
Thank you.
Got to send my thoughts via PayPal in advance. I'm sorry.
It's fine. We're almost finished, then we'll read your thoughts. Let's say that, because we're just right at the end. So if you bring it up, then we can read it out in a minute, as you're better at reading these things. 2 more thoughts on this bit. First, you see the alcoves. Cool. You also see a lot of people behind them that don't look Romulan. I mean, she doesn't look Romulan either. And
I think they're working with the Federation, because she's obviously a Federation member.
I mean, I don't know. She could just be a human. Because if she knows about her sister, but I don't think she thinks her sister is Daj, who's a boyfriend. Like, I don't get the impression they know who they really are. They just have false memories. So she could even be faking as a Romulan. I mean, there's no reason why she couldn't be a smooth head. We don't know the plot, but it's weird to see humans and Vulcan Romulans together. And the plot's good, although as we noticed, and you'll look at our video, they do some clever modelling tricks. This would have been a better payoff if we haven't seen the trailer. This kind of has a very little payoff effect. It's kind of like, well, yeah, it's a Borg cube. I mean, it kind of falls flat this way around. It's like, yeah, we know. Well, now I'm wondering what all those things around it are. Because there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like, what? I don't know. Maybe the dampening fields? No, that doesn't make sense. Maybe a mine layer, so if it moves, they blow up. Maybe that's the only reason they're allowing it to stay intact, is because if it moves 1 inch, it'll blow up.
With all them on board, sure.
Well, yeah, but if it moves,
maybe.
Yeah, Borg, yeah. Do you know how big a threat the Borg are, dude? And what the hell are those ships inside doing the lights? Because they're not the fighter things. I doubt they're the work bees. Because a lot of movement, like dozens of things moving.
We'll have to wait and see.
And my last thought, because you jumped over him a little bit, I don't like this actor. Sorry, it's a bit of a negative thing, but I thought his acting was really kind of bad. I didn't like his at all. I thought it was not very good at all. He'll grow on me, I'm sure. Yeah. No, I didn't like him at all, really.
He came across as not acting because he was just being a nice guy, it seemed like.
But we know he's a villain that uses her, so it's so fake.
But I didn't know that until after the fact, so...
But they're in the trailers, they're like sleeping together, and he's a Romulan, and I mean, again, I was looking more at the trailers than you were, but...
Speciesist. But you can't sleep with a Romulan?
No, we know he's the villain.
I don't know he's a villain.
They've already revealed that in posters and stuff. He's one of the villains.
I don't know that.
Well, okay.
All right, so Eugene's PayPal, $60 Canadian.
Oh my god. Dude, thank you. That's awesome.
Good acting. Stewart is awesome. Other members of the cast are good as well. Mixed. This Picard, yes. However, the universe is not TNG. I cannot make myself believe it can be. It is Discovery all the way through. Bad. Production is shameful. Discovery assets reused everywhere. Colors are oversaturated. Camera work is horrid. In half of scenes, it is stable, but in other half, it's always shaking. And most of the time, focus is slightly wrong. So I've always have an uncanny valley feeling. And the very bad. Holograms, I hate them. They are bad for a user interface. They are a downgrade from TNG photonics, and they are bad for the show budget.
That's true. Yeah, burn money. I mean, can you imagine the budget per month of holograms versus, a new shuttle?
Yeah.
They could just have put a screen on next to the replicator they built and save themselves $5,000 of CG. It'd have the exact same effect, but not be reversed. I mean, I can't say I agree with all those things, Eugene. I think it being shot, I don't think it was dreadfully shot. I just think it was quite plain. But I think it was because he's old. As in, this is the Patrick Stewart slow, still episode. And then it suddenly cuts to Daj. I think it kind of fits the tone, what they're trying to do. And it's not trying to be TNG. Because it's not a big cast ensemble, positive, happy family piece. It isn't. So it's not a Star... I mean, no Star Trek's ever been this weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so after all of that, you can burn through Super Chat straight, and then we'll give our final scores. We've almost kept 500 the entire time. That is absolutely amazing. If you can click like, that'd be great. I'm sure some of you haven't, and I'm daring you to. I think you should. Personally, I think you should.
But Super Chats. TXR Wave, £5. Thought the new Romulan ships, Birds of Prey, ? Were ace. Thought Patrick was great. Yes. I thought the ships were cool, and Patrick, again, I think did a fantastic job. Fleet Pod Swiftback puts in $4.99. Have to get ready for work, gents. Final thoughts. It was good. There was definitely some flaws, but it felt like Trek. 8 out of 10. Joel and True overall. Live long and prosper. Yes. Well, enjoy your work. Live long and prosper. Yeah. So, I'll just recap. I loved it. I thought it was great. Good writing, in my opinion. Good acting. Just overall a fun ride, and it felt like old Trek again. I know we're going to have Discovery assets because we've already seen the shuttles. I know we're going to have some Discovery ships and things, but it's something I'm going to have to rationalize in my brain. And just replace them with other assets in my head, or just say it's part of a different reality.
Or we're retconning out Discovery, and now it's just the current stuff.
Yeah, could do that as well. So I'm going to have to give this... I don't want to skew my system, obviously, right off the top. But a good 8 out of 10. I think that's a good safe number. We'll see. I might have to modify that depending at the end.
Yeah. Well, especially as we'll say, for this episode, and then out of the season.
Yeah.
Because that, based on the season is different. I mean, that's the thing, enjoyment factor. Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed this.
But it's like you couldn't even compare it to TNG because they're so much more enjoyable to watch in general. But that's just, you know what I mean? That's what they are. So this would be, if you compare this, if you could have said this to TNG, you'd like half the score. But it's not that. You know what I mean? It's not that. It can't be that. It'll never be that. That's why you can't even compare Voyager to TOS or TOS to DS9. If you're judging Voyager on the character DS9 score, it's going to fail. If you judge DS9 on the tech score, it's going to fail to Voyager. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So 8 or 8.5? You said 8, didn't you?
I said 8.
Okay. What's your favourite thing about it?
Definitely the opening sequence and just the overall feeling like it's
on the right track.
Yeah. On the right track.
Least favourite thing? Except the shuttle, because that's too obvious.
Well, yeah. Least favourite thing would be that I wish we could see all 3 episodes right away. No, I don't know. Least favorite thing. Oh man, I don't know.
Some of the editing, maybe that doesn't quite make sense of him being blowed up and then.
Yeah. Stuff like that is really kind of some obvious plot holes, which might be explained later. Just things that don't make sense.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we gave them benefit of the doubt for the placeholder shuttles, and we were wrong. We should have trusted our gut and the laziness of the show. But we're always hopeful. That's the point. We're always hopeful. So my closing thoughts are: I still am not, like I said to you. My first reaction when I watched it was, "Huh." I didn't know how to feel. I think when this show does it right, it does it great.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it is so tonally different that it could be another show and different another universe. But we've never seen a civilian Star Trek. Like, it would be hard to show that show, you know? It really would. And I think this kind of tells me personally that I need that Starfleet something aesthetic to help ground it in Star Trek. More than this, maybe like 15-30% more, you know. But I enjoyed it. It's enjoyable. This is very much a wait and see, build up. I'm blown away by how much they covered in one episode. It feels like they just want to burn through this plot point to get the real plot. Almost like they built this episode to be a trailer, put it in the trailer, and then surprise everyone that you use it all. It's like, well, where the hell is it going to go? We have no idea. So it's clever. Good for them. They did the same for Discovery, seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like, there's no clips outside of episode 3, pretty much. It's like, okay. I think tonally it fits the less Trek feel for me because he's not Picard back yet. He's a guy to Vineyard until he has his Picard moments. When he Picard moments, he kicks ass. When he doesn't, he doesn't quite. So I think some really good highs, some weaker. I'm not say bad, but weaker lows. I'll say weaker moments. Not bad. This is not really bad, but it's weaker, I think, into it. My gut reaction when I walked out of it, review score wise, was between 6 and 7. That was my gut reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how I feel now. I think I'll need to see the rest of the season. I think I enjoyed it. No, I think I was going to say 7. I think 7's fair for me, which I think is probably higher than you thought I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think the highs are really good. And I'm really intrigued. I'm looking forward to getting past the Picard I hate life slump because it really brought down the tone and the vibe and the Trek. And I think once we get to 4, 5, 6, I think this one's going to burn into like overdrive. You know, once 7 and Hugh are in it, and we get all this great stuff. I think this one will be the weakest episode of the season. I think this will be the weakest episode of the season by a long way.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless the payoff's bad. But that said, it started brilliantly, and I'm gonna have faith that we'll see more data in flashbacks because he looks. I mean, look at that screen. Look at that shot of him in this. He's in bloody uniform. It looks great. Well done, Brent. Thanks for coming back, mate. Appreciate it. And guys, give your favourite final scores. And his favourite thing is the uniforms and the shooting of them. Least favourite is, like I say, some of the generic art design. Could have done more. They really could have. But I think they're just trying to burn through those. Like, we're never going to see the civilian buildings again. We're never going to see Darja's apartment again. So they didn't need to spend money on it, really. You know, they went for simple, non-Trekky furnished. You know, and that's fine. Just move past it.
Yeah. Jeff Jacobs, $2, 450. Yes, shakes empty wallet upside down. LOL. Sorry, Jeff.
But we love you, Jeff.
Jason VNet, $5, 8 out of 10 for me. Favorite thing: a new Star Trek moving forward in the timeline and not back. Boom, boom, and all that.
And it's definitely better than Discovery.
Yes. And Matthew Fuss, although it's got Discovery stank all over it, which kind of sucks.
It's been influenced by Discovery heavily, yes.
Matthew Faustini puts in $5. Overall, I love the show. Best first episode of modern Trek, in my opinion. Beat my expectations by a mile.
Yes.
Agreed with Captain. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, so, I think that's really important. I managed to keep my expectations low.
Yeah, so did I.
And it really bloody helped. Because this is barely Star Trek in a sense. You know, this is the story of a dude in the Star Trek world. I mean, I think honestly this is very Mandalorian-esque. Like, if you want to compare it to something modern, this is very Mandalorian. It's smaller. It's about one guy. Like, that's a good comparison, I think.
Yeah. And John Man McFly puts in 279 and says, how was the D different?
Texturing, the basards, the neck, the torpedo tube, the lack of texturing, the lack of or the way the escape pods were done, the color, the 10 forward, the lack of window internal detail, the inner glows of the basards. I think there's, the fact that it's silver. I mean, lots of things.
Dream sequence, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's fine, and that was like a 3-day build.
Yeah.
And they just colored it. I mean, it's clever. I like it. It's clever. It works fine. It's just you can comment that it's not the right looking thing, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I'd rather they had it than didn't have it.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
There's so many times in Discovery where I'm like, could you not just have seen that outside? No? Okay. Cut to exterior? No? Okay. So, yeah.
We should have had that Enterprise D model just sitting in dry dock for Children of Mars. I would have been happy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sorry, I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, lots to like for sure. A lot more to like than dislike, which is a great sign.
And it's definitely intriguing. It successfully created a situation, and it defied expectations well. It burned through major plot points. It killed the main character of Daj. I mean, come on. Give him credit. That's an impressive move to play. I mean, come on. And there's
$2. Cassidy Yates above and left of King's logo in the Boston scene.
Now, do you mean her actual face? What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I had a look and I didn't see anything of anything, and obviously the King's sign I was looking at. 1 second. Let's have a look. So it's before the news. Before the title sequence, isn't it? Yeah.
No. It's right before you see Dodge in her apartment. So
yes,
right
before
after
the title sequence.
Oh, yeah. That's what I said.
Mm-hmm. I do like the stealth suits that they're wearing.
Let's see where anybody sees Cassidy Yates. I don't understand. Her shipping company logo. I don't see a logo.
Oh, I see more the Ferengi logo now. In the second picture's better at that. Okay. Oh, that's the LCARS. Oops. Okay, well, there's the image. I don't want to enhance it too much, because if you can all see it without it... I mean, I see... Is it the 3 pointy things? Is that it?
I don't know.
I mean, you said around Kings. And next to it is like an Omega-13 thing.
He said above and left of the King's logo.
Oh, above and left.
I don't see it.
I mean, where compared to the Ferengi? Right underneath the Ferengi logo, bright square. I mean, I don't see anything.
I don't even know what our shipping logo looks like. So.
And it's a square. I mean, all I see is a square with like a orange bubble on it. Okay.
Just above and left, it's there. It keeps telling us.
Is that it?
I see it. It's a square. Okay.
I mean, it's very nothing. Is that it, guys?
Just take your word for it.
That's her logo. Okay. I'm
impressed.
Magnify
grid sector 001 enhance.
I'm impressed you can see what it is. Because to me it just looks like a non-thing. I mean, they could have done a better job at not having it be blown out. I mean, if they wanted us to see it. I mean, I guess you guys are bigger DS9 fans than I am, because I got no idea.
Yeah, I'm a huge DS9 fan, and I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, so it's fine.
But there you go, we found it. The black square with an orange... Looks like a UFO that's pointing out of it with like a... I don't know what it's meant to be. Anyway. So there we go. Guys, what are your scores? Let us know.
Oh, there was a bunch of scores. Way back.
We need 4K for this. Yeah, we do.
6.5 says Sam. Max says 6.5. Favorite bit was the Enterprise D at the start. Travis 7.5 out of 10. Captain Kenny 8.9 out of 10. Mark Jones, 9 out of 10. Voice of Reason, 8 out of 10. Zachary Gibbons, 7 out of 10. Nick, 4 out of 10.
Wow.
Okay. Eugene, question mark, out of 10. Barely a third of an episode.
It's a combat out of 10.
Thanos, 7 out of 10. 8 out of 10 from Ming Lee. Project Achiever, 6.5 out of 10. Bill Barkley, 7 out of 10.
Oh.
So there you go. There's a good smattering.
Basically, Stuart, most people agreed between us. Actually,
Yes.
That's a good sign. And I appreciate... I think, guys, that... it's funny. I know that we kind of swap in this perspective, but I kind of felt like that I was wrong. Like, that I had to defend my... because sometimes I know you feel you have to defend why you think one way. Sometimes I have to feel like I defend why I feel like one way. And it kind of swaps as we go.
Mm-hmm.
And this one I kind of felt like to defend, like, I felt like an idiot because I didn't like it as much as you. But hopefully you guys think I had good points and saw good things. It's funny how that happens. So I know you liked it more than me, because I didn't actually watch your review, but I saw you say to John Eves that you liked it. I was like, I liked it then. That's all I saw. But it's a good first step. And all I can say is, who wants to be the final super chat? We're at the end of the show, 3 full hours. Hell of a thing. 500 people watching. That's amazing. God knows how many $5 super chats. Thank you so much. One amazingly sour €20. And boy, guys, this morning we had a very efficient filming session. I hope you agree, Stuart. We kind of and all videos are now in higher resolution. If you guys noticed the previous 2 reviews, both of our videos are at a higher looking quality, and I've got better light. So hopefully you guys will see that they do look clean and like better. We have got 4 ready filmed for the weekend. I'll be editing those this weekend. We'll have 1 video each day, as well as a ship channel, and a sub video each day as well. And then we're going to film more on Monday to cover up until the new release on Thursday. So just like with Discovery Season 1 and Season 2, we're going to try and burn ourselves out a little bit. But I had a tremendous amount of fun doing the 4 sub videos today with you, Stuart. And I think we genuinely had interesting things to say, and we didn't repeat almost any of them in this live. Like, we found different things to talk about each time. So,
yeah.
Great. So do check out those, and please do share them, because we really do want these things to go well. I'd love to see 10,000 or more views each video. We put a lot of thought and time into these, and especially thought. And we're not gonna bitch or bash. And we'd love this channel to grow. So please, if you can help us out by sharing and commenting, that'd be great. And definitely join our Patreon, because that is huge for us. And it took a slump in the last few months. We really want to be 1,000, and we need to be 1,000. So if you can, please do help.
Yeah. Jersey puts in $2. Cassidy, Prime 1351 $1.99 video on post TNG trailer ships when
Sunday.
Zeraxis puts in $1. No comment, but thank you. And Voice of Reason, £2. Engage.
Okay. The voice of reason. The voice of reason wins. Last super chat. Guys, well done. Stuart, well done. You gonna go have dinner then?
Yes.
And I'm gonna go edit tomorrow's first video at 1 a.m. Fun times. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you for a live on Monday. And tune into our edited faces over the weekend. And welcome to the journey that is Picard Season 1. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.